not saying he's going to lead them to a Stanley Cup, but if he came in and at least obviously like the room respected him.
He shook up a room. There's no doubt about that.
And so I'm just saying, like, he's out there. This is far way down the stretch, of course, if this even happens. But this is the dialogue around the Maple Leafs right now. Clearly things are like teetering into chaos, right? And if they just win a game tonight and win another game this weekend, maybe we don't have this discussion. But it's underlying because when things get tough, everyone points elsewhere. And that's the problem with this team.
Yeah, and my biggest fear for this group, I guess,
they win
right
a few now.
No, it would be they actually have the stretch of games that would result in a move. But they don't look elsewhere. They look down the bench at Guy Boucher, who was brought in, I don't think for no reason, right? Like, I think Brendan Shanahan already courted Guy Boucher in the Mike Babcock sweepstakes way back when, had interest in him then, brought him into the organization to work or to breathe down the neck in some ways of Sheldon Keefe. If you make that move, I guess it's different. But how much do things change when there actually isn't a brand new voice, right? Like, is Guy Boucher going to snap his fingers and turn into a different person? He looks like a Bond villain. I don't know if he can just act like one right away. I guess he could try. But again, I think the current culture would have seeped into that process, that mental process, that line of thinking, that situation, that environment, right? Like, it would be hard to start completely anew when that person has been around. And I do totally fear agree. That sort of scenario sort of creep it up on us, because I do think if they're going to do it, it requires something fairly drastic. Because again, I think starting from zero is something these guys need.
And they haven't done it. And I mean, Brendan Shanahan has been here for quite a while. And how many different buttons can you press? Like, this is maybe one of the last buttons you can press, which is a brand new outside the organization head coach. Because at that point, what's next? Trading Mitch Marner. Maybe, like, that's the most next drastic thing.
He's like, his contract is hard to get around. And then he's got to negotiate a new one.
For sure. Okay, so let's talk about the game tonight.
Okay.
It was great. But we do have a hockey game.
We didn't get a chance to talk about the Leafs much this week, so we had to get some things off our chest.
And we got them off. But tonight is a big one, of course. We mentioned that Leafs have hit a bit of a skid. The Stars haven't been Stars unless they were playing the Sharks. and that's not good enough.
And the thing that everyone was a little bit concerned about of William Nylander's game kind of capitulating immediately after signing the contract, well, that's happened. I mean, he's in his first dry spell of the entire year, of course, naturally, right after he signs that new deal.
William Nylander. Let's talk about John Tavares, because that's also another. We're talking about like holding people accountable. Well, there's the captain of the team, right? And it looks to me at this point he's really slowed down, or he's not an offensive a threat right now. He has been an interesting conversation in the market as well, and he's not as impactful as he once was. We have William Nylander obviously being a bit more quiet. But this team they're going up against has really been like fighting tooth and nail all season long. Like, we kind of wrote them off a while ago. Like, we were having discussions 2 months ago about which pieces do you want to pick apart on the Calgary Flames. And there's a lot. There's a lot of pieces that you could either trade for or acquire. And Brad Trey Living's relationship with the Flames was something like a special intrigue. Maybe he's got an in. They didn't make the deal for Zadorov because I guess the price was too high. But he ends up going elsewhere, and that was a game after basically they played the Maple Leafs here in Toronto. And it was like, oh, okay, like he wants out. Is that a perfect fit? Didn't work out. But there's still some pieces that the Calgary Flames could sell off, but now they're on this little bit of a heater, and it's kind of probably difficult to decide which direction you're going to go. But they're not an easy team to blow off, and they obviously rise to the occasion when they play the Maple Leafs.
Yeah, they're inching closer and closer to a potential tricky situation, right? Because they are winners of 4 straight, as you mentioned, 2 points out of a playoff spot. They're like a very mid team by every measure, though. 139 goals for, 139 against, and everyone's been, calling for this rebuild, right? Like, I think the fans want it. I think anyone who's pretty sensible would agree that that's probably where they need to go, because they have 3 unrestricted free agents in Elias Lindholm, Noah Hanifin, and Chris Tanev in addition to over the last couple of years losing Johnny Gaudreau and Matthew Tkachuk and having a bit of a exodus of talent. They've got a lot of interesting pieces, though. They got a couple restricted free agents. They've got guys like Jacob Markstrom who might be available. Dan Vladar, who's starting tonight for Calgary, interesting as well. Like if they wanted to go full liquidation mode, they could really, really do some damage before the deadline and kind of do what the fans want to see. But if you win games and you are nipping at a playoff spot, it's hard to do, right? It's hard to make that adjustment. It's hard to change course when there's playoff revenue on the line and there's the chip in the chair mentality where you just get into a playoff series against maybe a division rival in Edmonton or against a Vegas team that, maybe they got to look at themselves and say, hey, do we have this again? Can we go the distance again? So it kind of lures you in, right? You can make a lot of money with playoff revenue. You could get involved and have more success than you think you could have had or believed you could have had. But there are a lot of reasons to suggest that they're kind of getting the maximum out of them right now in this moment and that they're probably going to cool off because every measure would suspect that. And again, there are few chances to be the belle of the ball at like a deadline, and Calgary could be that. I think they got the most premium assets that could be available.
They're the most attractive team for sure.
And they could really, really, if they play their cards right, do some damage here. But if they win too many games and decide not to do it, well, that could be something that, holds them back multiple years because you end up losing talent, more talent for nothing, and then you just can't recoup assets as fast as you need to.
Yeah, Jacob Markstrom has been probably the brightest star on this turnaround for the Calgary Flames over the last couple months. But they'll see Dan Vladar in that tonight. So if you're looking for a Maple Leafs bounce back opportunity, this basically is it. They're playing the much weaker of goaltenders. The Leafs need a win desperately. The Flames, they're not fat and happy, but they're on a pretty good win streak here as well. But I wanted to play this clip from Nazem Kadri. He was on the Kipper and Bourne show this week. I believe it was yesterday, actually. And, we always talk about teams really get up to play the Leafs, and that's kind of our spin on it. But here's what Nazem Kadri had to say.
You've obviously played for the Toronto Maple Leafs. You've played in Colorado and then Calgary now. And you've seen kind of both sides of things. He's convinced that players care more about beating the Leafs. Is there anything to that?
You know what? That's absolutely factual.
Right on.
And I honestly did not realize that until I kind of moved out of the Toronto bubble. But everyone's gunning for the Leafs. I mean, that's such a historic and terrific franchise with a lot of great history. And I don't know. It's just, it's a little extra incentive. Especially for myself, being a former Maple Leaf, I think it's, you always have this game, these couple games circled on your calendar and always, especially when you're rolling through Toronto. So, I guess that'd be pretty accurate.
There you go. We definitely might have him in our revenge angle on the other side of the break in terms of props. But it's always a nice reflection point. Nazem Kadri used to be a Leaf. He used to be a very spicy Leaf at times. No longer with the Maple Leafs, with the Calgary Flames. We'll see him tonight in about 10 minutes. But teams really do get up to play the Maple Leafs. Even though we think it's the center of the universe, other teams certainly want to play that way as well.
It's a poking the bear thing. Like, we're both younger siblings. Like, poking the bear, bothering your sibling, getting a reaction out of someone. Well, it's like a natural thing that people just do, right? Like, when you can get the biggest reaction when you're a bit of a pest, it's fun. It's fun to beat the Leafs because you get the biggest reaction if you heap misery on the team that is followed and scrutinized more than any other. I feel like it's just like a human tendency to want to do that sort of thing, to needle your bigger brother or big sister. And I feel like in a lot of ways that's the role that the Maple Leafs play, and people love coming in and needling the Maple Leafs.
Yeah, and tonight's a prime opportunity of that, and so is Saturday night. Of course, as we mentioned, the Leafs on the road to face the Vancouver Canucks, and that's always their biggest game of the season. So it would be nice to stop the slide tonight for the Maple Leafs, who have blown a lead in all 4 of their last losses, including multi-goal leads in 3 of them. We'll take a quick break. On the other side, we'll give you the lines, and we'll tell you who our player to watch is tonight. And there's a lot of revenge angles. You're listening to Most Leafs Hockey on Sportsnet 590, The Fan, and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
2-wheelertruck.ca. So when you gotta move, all moving day. Think 2-wheelertruck.ca. Cause all of us movers are not the same. So that's our company name, 2menintruck.ca. We're lots of men with lots of trucks, so give us a call today.
In Toronto's war on crime, the worst offenders are pursued by the detectives of the Specialized Criminal Investigations Unit. These are their stories. Law & Order Toronto Criminal Intent premieres February 22nd on City TV.
City TV has all new episodes of Chicago Med, Fire, and PD.
Listen up, mass casualties en route.
How do I fix it?
You go back to work.
Chicago Wednesday on City TV or stream it on City TV Plus.
There are many peculiar words in the English language. Words like solivigant, peregrinate, nemophilus, peripatetic, and conviviality. Yet, there is no word for getting the most out of winter in your Subaru, thanks to symmetrical full-time all-wheel drive and X-Mode. Until now. We call it unhibernate. As in, while your neighbors stay home, you'll be unhibernating all winter in your Subaru. So peregrinate to your local Subaru dealer today, and welcome to uncommon winter confidence.
Move up to Heathwood. Hi, I'm Hugh Herron. Experience true luxury at Williamsburg Green in Kitchener. Heathwood's all-brick single-family homes come with a long list of features you've always dreamed of. Gourmet kitchens, freestanding tubs, and even fully finished lower levels. Dare to compare and you'll see why it's time to move up to Heathwood. Learn more at heathwood.com.
This is former Pro Bowl quarterback Alex Smith, and listening to the NFL playoffs on the all-new SiriusXM app is as easy as throwing a touchdown pass.
Smith will throw. He makes the catch! Touchdown!
Just open the app, click on sports, and find the matchup. Then pick which one of the hometown feeds you want to listen to, and now you're in the game. Plus, when the final whistle sounds, get reaction from hosts on channels like NFL Radio and Mad Dog Sports Radio all on your phone. And don't forget to check out my show, the SiriusXM Blitz with Alex Smith on NFL Radio Channel 88 in the car and on the all-new SiriusXM app.
The Point with Boomer Gordon.
You think, can you pay the guy? I think what we've learned the last 4 years is that you can. Tampa, Colorado, Vegas. They were all built on elite superstar talent. But what they also had was great management. And that's the one thing the Leafs haven't done. They've never done. Dubas never did it. I think we could all argue Treliving's not off to a great start trying to do it this year. Becomes a huge challenge.
Point with Boomer Gordon. 1 p.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, SiriusXM 91, and the SiriusXM app.
If you're a soccer fan, you know that this music means one thing. The Champions League is on SiriusXM FC.
Hat-trick for Erling Haaland. Kane scores!
The top teams from around Europe are battling for club soccer's holy grail.
Real Madrid do what they do best. What a start for Inter!
Hear all the top Champions League matches all tournament long on SiriusXM FC 157 and streaming on the SiriusXM app.
The Power Play with Steve Koulias.
And we're with John Cooper, head coach of the Lightning. Can you kind of talk about your relationship with your captain?
You know, whether I say it's a friendship or whatever we have, our bond is it's really come and really evolved over the years. He's one of the greatest, he's our greatest ambassador, but I think he's one of the greatest ambassadors for the sport. You know, the kid's a class act, and it's been really a pleasure to watch.
The Power Play, weekdays 3 p.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, SiriusXM 91, and the SiriusXM app. The biggest names in the game.
Trying to get behind, wrist the line, and walks in, put it between his legs, shoots it, score!
NHL play-by-play on SiriusXM.
Join me, Gord Stellick, and Scott Laughlin as we recap the night that was on NHL Morning Skate, weekday mornings at 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, SiriusXM 91.
Hi, this is Ray Hudson, and for all the biggest matches from club soccer's holy grail, the UEFA Champions League, tune in to SiriusXM FC 157.
The best hockey lives here.
Burns gets it back, stick handles to the backhand, moves in front, score!
NHL play-by-play on SiriusXM. Hockey lives here.
Suzuki sweeps it, there's a chance, rebound, Caulfield, shoots and scores!
NHL play-by-play on SiriusXM.
Join me, Scott Laughlin, and Gord Stellick, along with former NHLer Mike Johnson for NHL Morning Skate, weekday morning, 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, SiriusXM 91.
Group.
This is Molson Leafs Hockey.
We're about to bring the war right now. Sound the alarm.
on Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Leafs Radio Network. There's a Molson with your name on it.
Despite the fact we're through the halfway point of the season here now, 42 games in, I still have a lot of questions, quite honestly, about who is going to go out and we can say is for certain he is going to get the job done for us. To me, it's a little bit inconsistent throughout the group.
Welcome back to Molson Leafs Hockey on Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Maple Leafs Radio Network. Ailish Forfar and Justin Cuthbert here, head of the Leafs and Flames at the Saddle Dome. Maple Leafs on a 4-game losing streak and the Calgary Flames on a 4-game winning streak. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, we'll see if a couple streaks are extended. We brought you in with Sheldon Keefe talking about trust and reliability. Mm-hmm. Well, I guess we know he can rely and trust on Pontus Holberg, who'll be playing on the top line with Austin Matthews and Mitch Marner tonight. Matthew Nyes, who's been taking up residency on that top line for most of the year, will play with Tavares and Nylander. Bertuzzi, Domi, Yarncroke in the fourth line will be McMahon, Kampf, and Gregor. On the back end, Riley, Brody, Benoit, McCabe, Giordano, Liljegren, with Martin Jones starting once again for the Toronto Maple Leafs, who are going to look to try to end that 4-game losing streak.
They sure are. And they're going to need a couple stars to step up tonight. And that leads us to our player to watch presented by Bet365. Visit the app for the latest odds and find out why it's never ordinary at Bet365. Must be 19 plus, Ontario only. Play responsibly. I'm feeling very generous tonight, so
there's a plethora of options.
I've laid out a couple options for us tonight, so pick your poison, listeners. How about we start with William Nylander, Calgary-born kid. He's had at least a point in each of his last 7 games against the Flames. So how about a goal at plus 140? Not the greatest of value, but William Nylander's looking to break his streak. He hasn't done much since signing that big contract. Maybe he wants to shut all of us up in the media.
Yeah, I mean, it hasn't been a great run since the contract was signed for William Nylander, but the Calgary guy maybe feels some sort of affinity to home. I see that as a possibility. I do like your second one a little better, though.
The ultimate revenge.
The ultimate revenge. And there are a couple of revenge angles, let's be honest. There are a couple guys playing old teammates. Mark Giordano would be one of them, of course. But Nazem Kadri, I mean, he's just flair for the dramatic. He comes up in certain moments like this. He relishes the opportunity to play the Toronto Maple Leafs, of course. An anytime goal for Nazem Kadri is plus 180. I think that's your best of the offerings.
One more, just because we're generous tonight on Thursday night. Riley, who was named to his first NHL All-Star game on a pretty hot streak, 1 point in his last 15 of 20 games. Plus 380 for 2 points tonight for Mr. Morgan Riley.
Big Brad Treliving night.
It sure is. We're all going to relitigate every move he's made during the intermissions.
I feel like that would be a good thing, because if we're not relitigating like everything that he's done, then we're really, really concerned in what's happening locally for the Toronto Maple Leafs. I think a win for the Maple Leafs sets up the opportunity to talk about everything Treliving stuff.
Well, Joe Bowen and Jim Ralph have the call of the first period after the break. You're listening to Molson Leafs Hockey on Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
Let's go, football fans.
This week on Let's Go with Tom Brady and Larry Fitzgerald and me, Jim Gray.
We're all better players for having Coach Belichick as our coach. I think there was a level of accountability and discipline that he had that maybe we didn't always want to hear it, but in the end, when we reflect back, we're happy that we did hear it and that we went through it.
Listen now to the extended version of Let's Go, exclusively on the SiriusXM app, included with all our trials and popular plans.
Let's go, baby.
Let's go.
NHL Morning Skate.
Chris Knobloch, head coach of the Edmonton Oilers. No coaching experience in Paul Coffey. What's that been like as far as a rather unique fit as an assistant?
If you look at all the things that have improved with our team, and maybe even the most is how well our defense has been playing. Paul's done a great job of communicating with them and getting a message on just playing assertively.
NHL Morning Skate with Scott Laughlin and Gord Stellick. Weekdays 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, SiriusXM 91, and the SiriusXM app. The Point with Boomer Gordon.
You think, can you pay the guy? I think what we've learned the last 4 years is that you can. Tampa, Colorado, Vegas. They were all built on elite superstar talent. But what they also had was great management. And that's the one thing the Leafs haven't done. They've never done. Dubas never did it. I think we could all argue Treliving's not off to a great start trying to do it this year. It becomes a huge challenge.
Points with Boomer Gordon. 1 p.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, SiriusXM 91, and the SiriusXM app. Under review.
The National Hockey League, it's the #1 league in the world. It's a tough league. It's not shinny. I never wanted to become a league where the stars get an extra step or two. And there is a real divide with some people who go, the NHL doesn't do enough for its stars. No, what we like about hockey is it's a team game.
Under review with Mick Kern, 11 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app.
NHL All-Star Weekend returns to Toronto, and SiriusXM NHL Network Radio brings you all the action.
Pass and a quick shot. Scores! Matthews!
Lost for Crosby for the HP. He's good! Hear conversations with all-star players and coaches. All-Star Media Day, player draft, skills competition, and play-by-play of the 2024 All-Star Game. 2024 NHL All-Star Weekend live, beginning February 1st on NHL Network Radio, Channel 91 in the car, and on the all-new SiriusXM app.
Hey Toronto, I'm David Morsuti, host of the daily Toronto Maple Leafs podcast, Locked On Leafs, part of the Locked On Podcast Network on the SiriusXM app. Every weekday, we bring you the latest Leafs news and analysis, break down all the action, including this game you're listening to right now, and preview the next one. We're giving you everything a Leafs fan could want, all in a daily 30-minute podcast. Download Locked On Leafs right now on the SiriusXM app, available with all trials and popular plans, or where you get your podcasts. Search Locked On Leafs.
If you're a soccer fan, you know that this music means one thing. The Champions League is on SiriusXM FC.
Hat-trick for Erling Haaland. Kane scores!
The top teams from around Europe are battling for club soccer's holy grail.
Real Madrid do what they do best. What a start for Inter!
Hear all the top Champions League matches all tournament long on SiriusXM FC 157 and streaming on the SiriusXM app.
Hi, this is Ray Hudson, and for all the biggest matches from club soccer's holy grail, the UEFA Champions League, tune in to SiriusXM FC 157.
The Leafs Radio Network.
The Leafs travel down the highway from Edmonton to continue this Western road trip with a huge game in Calgary against the Flames. And the creatures of the Crescent Creases tonight, Martin Jones, 8-5-1 with a 2.36 goals against average and a 9.22 save percentage. He's 11-4-0 lifetime against the Flames. Will be in against Dan Vlader, who is 7-5-2, 3.30 and an 8.85 save percentage. He has lost all 3 starts he's had against the Leafs in overtime or shootout. So the Maple Leafs have their hands full trying to end a 4-game losing streak, and the last 5-gamer came.
Oh, you were telling me that earlier.
Yeah, 2021.
The COVID year.
Yes, same year that they won the division. So here's the situation that has befell them, and the biggest question and the biggest problem is that they have led in each game and multiple goal leads that have evaporated.
And we've talked about this. Opposing teams now know. So they get down a goal or two, and they've got that automatic belief they can come back. And usually, whether it's a broken stick by Morgan Riley or a weak backhand by Leon Draisaitl, those comebacks certainly have a pretty pointed starting point.
We're underway with the first shot on goal, and a pad save and a rebound. Not just wide of the Toronto goal. 2 good saves made there by Martin Jones. Played to the line and out at center ice, and racing after it is Matthews, but he's not going to get there in time. Played to the line, trapped and kept in by Toronto's Pontus Holmberg, but now played out at center ice. Right back in by Marner. Marner gets a shot away, but it's a fairly easy one. And Dan Blatter is able to come down and swallow it up and hold for a face-off.
Well, one thing about the Leafs on this trip, I mean, we talked about the California trip. You thought the LA Kings game would be the toughest. The Leafs started that trip with a 3-0 win there. And then we're fortunate to win in overtime in Anaheim before dominating the San Jose Sharks. This Western trip, a little more difficult. You've got the Oilers winning 11 straight now. The Flames are on a roll with 4 straight. Vancouver and Seattle have been on rolls as well.
Sharon Govich sends the puck in on goal. Stopped by Jones. Off the wing. Nylander can't come up with it. Back to the point it goes. Sharon Govich with a shot that went over top of the net. Anderson trying to keep it in. Rings the boards. It'll be found by Sharon Govich on the left wing. But now a whistle, and I think we have a penalty.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a high stick. I saw the head snap by Sharon Govich.
Toronto penalty number 88, minor penalty, high sticking.
So William Nylander, who is mired in a slump like a lot of others, is in the penalty box for high sticking.
Nylander is pointless in 4 and just 3 assists in the last 5. Those 3 assists came the day after he signed his new deal that will kick in next year. And those 3 assists came in the win at home against the San Jose Sharks, but nothing for Nylander since.
56 seconds in, the Flames power play is not very good. 28th in the National Hockey League. And their last 5 games are 4 of 15. Huberdeau sending it around the boards to the far side. Trapped there by Kadri. Comes to the left wing side. Huberdeau passing back to Kadri, but the pass was behind him. It'll come back to the blue line. Mackenzie Weegar off on the wing. Kadri to Huberdeau. Huberdeau tries to get around a man. Blocked, and the Leafs are able to come up with the loose puck and send it out and down the ice. As was the case in Edmonton, the Scotiabank Saddledome seems to be riddled with blue and white jerseys on the only trip out west for the Maple Leafs this year. Played down into the Toronto zone. McCabe got it up on the wing, and it is grabbed off by Yarncrook, and he is able to ice the puck. And 2 to go in the power play. Now Kadri still on the ice, and the Flames were doing a lot of changing there, making sure they had the right numbers on the ice, and it's brought now by Anderson to center. Rasmus Anderson sends it in. Connor Zary gets after the puck back of the net. Cut off by the Maple Leafs, and it's going to be iced again as it's sent ahead on the left wing, though, for Gregor. He gets a shot away, and a save has to be made by Dan Blatter, and will be held for a face-off coming in the Calgary zone.
Noah Gregor already one shorthanded goal on the air. The Leafs have done a pretty good job of not allowing the Calgary Flames to get much puck possession time. David Kemp had a nice clear before that as well, and also saw Marner and Matthews very early on, almost on a break before Nylander took the penalty.
Puck back in the Calgary zone. Half minute to go in the power play. Brought out by Backlund. He hits the line, left wing side. Zary with a shot that went wide, and it's caromed off the end boards and slid all the way back into Calgary territory. The cold snap we're enjoying in Toronto is a little worse out west, we are told. Minus 21 greeted the lads in Calgary this morning. On the left wing side, Zary with a pass in front of the net. It comes back to the point, just kept in. Zary with it again on the left wing. Back to the point once more to Anderson. Over on the far half boards. Leafs get after it, and now it's played around back of the net. Mangiapane trying to work it free. It comes free, and Nylander out of the penalty box is going to flip it ahead, and it's just tipped out at center ice by Toronto. Christopher Tanev in back of the goal. Working his way out with a pass onto the left wing side. Greer will send it into the Toronto end. Morgan Riley hustling back after it. Played it up on the boards, but didn't connect with a breakout. Now Liljegren gets it to Riley. This time it's a stick-to-stick pass, and now brought in over the line by Tavares, who gets down into the corner. Nylander around back of the net, comes away with a loose puck. Looks for a man. Back to the point it comes. Liljegren right wing side with a shot, and seeing that all the way and taking it on the chest is Dan Blatter, and he'll hold for a face-off. Coming in the zone with 3 shots apiece now for the hockey clubs in a scoreless tie.
Well, for Willie Nylander, this might be just what the doctor ordered, as playing in Calgary, the city that he was born in. There's a 7-game point streak against the Flames. 4 goals, 16 points in the last 7 against Calgary. I do remember an overtime winner cutting off the left wing side.
On the Calgary zone to the left is scrummed, poked back to the blue line, kept in by Liljegren. Back of the net, Bertuzzi couldn't come up with it. Played back to the blue line for Yarncrook, who gets it to McCabe. McCabe down into the corner for Domi. Back to McCabe. Cross ice for Liljegren. Liljegren returns the favor, but it was deflected out at center ice. Now the Leafs have to go back to restore in the Toronto zone. McCabe Left wing feed up at center, deflected in by Yarn Crooks, steadied there by the goaltender and played back of his cage. Played up on the wing, and the Flames get it out into neutral ice, only to turn it over at the Toronto blue line. P.J. Brodie, a former Flame, along with Mark Giordano in the Leaf lineup as it's bounced down into Calgary territory. Hanifin races after it. Back to the blue line, kept in by the Maple Leafs. Quickly brought by Hanifin to center, though. Hanifin works in on the right wing, tried to get around Riley. Got the shot away, a backhand that went right through the crease and out the other side. Now Kadri keeping it in, and a quick shot taken off the wing by Pospisil is smothered by Martin Jones, and a face-off will come in the Toronto zone. 14:58 to play in the period, and there is no score.
This is the 4-game losing streak and the blown leads in all 4 games. Do you not think, especially when you look at the fact they haven't scored a goal in the third period in any of the 4 games, which could have been huge, obviously. Do you not think they're at the point now where they get the lead and they think we got to protect it and really start to change their game in that they're not as aggressive in the other end?
Well, there's all kinds of solutions, right? And one is just don't give up that goal that gets them back in the game. Now the Leafs break it in over the line. Marner's alone in front of the goal, but it can't get him the puck as it was deflected away before it reached him. Pospisil will try to backhand it out at center ice and does. And it'll be Liljegren going back for the Maple Leafs in his own zone. D to Giordano. His pass doesn't connect. Turning with it is Rasmus Andersson in the Flame zone. He'll come to the red line and punch it down into the Toronto zone. Liljegren back into the corner. Ran into a traffic jam there. Marner trying to help out. Kicks it now. He gets knocked down. The puck comes free. Back of the net, Michael Backlund getting it back to the point. Into the slot with a long drifting shot by Weegar that went well wide of the net. And the Leafs are able to break it out. And Tavares trying to punch it ahead and in across the line comes Marner. Off to Nyes, who plays to an open corner. Tavares trying to take an angle to it. Pinching there was Benoit. He has it knocked out at center, I think. Oh, there we see it now. How it's stolen by the Flames on a wrist shot taken there by Mangiapane, and it was deflected wide. A lot of people couldn't find the puck there for a moment, Mr. Ralph, and I was just one of them.
Dick Irvin always used to say, follow the bouncing puck, Danny.
That's it, Danny. Yep. Into the corner come the Flames. Dubé getting it back to the point. Shot deflects wide of the Leaf goal. Now around back of the net. Poked into the corner by Bertuzzi. Along the wall, the pass comes free, and now Domi is away at center. Domi working in on the left wing. Takes a sharp angle shot, and then Nylander couldn't chop the rebound out in front of the net after it deflected wide. Riley at his own blue line now. Shot in, and around the boards it goes. Far side, the Leafs come away with it. Back to the point to Brodie. Can't find it in his skates, but is able to backhand it in a little deeper. And the Flames get it to the line. Brodie fighting for it right at the blue line, but it pops out. And it is brought to center by Elias Lindholm, who takes it wide, trying to get a shot from an angle. That may have been stopped there by Jones on the short side. And now the Leafs getting to center, and it is David Camp sending a long shoot in on the Calgary netminder. Flames get it freed up. Huberdeau has it picked off by McMahon. McMahon dropping it back. It comes back to the blue line, but a bad pass. Karam's off the boards well away from Liljegren, who now just is able to punch it down into the zone. He's down there deep trying to do some forechecking, but out come the Flames on the left wing with Kadri. Former Leaf gets to the line and in. Taken to the boards on the far side. Gregor couldn't punch it out. Camp has it a little deeper in control back of the Toronto goal. Plays it into the corner now. And it will be Giordano ringing the boards to the far side. Liljegren got leveled. The puck still in the Toronto zone. Liljegren back on his skates, though. Finds Giordano. And Giordano skates it to center and is going to bounce it in. And Anderson gave Giordano a bit of a cheap shot after the shoot in and knocked him down. A little bit from behind, wasn't it?
A little bit late, too.
Played off the boards to center. Zeri sends it into the Leaf zone. Jones trying to punch it around the wall to the far side. Keeping it in is Mangiapane. The Leafs are able to come away with it. And off a stick, a turnover right in the slot on a pass there from Holmberg. And then a wrist shot is wide of the Leaf goal. Leafs catch a break there on a turnover that was right in the slot. Pontus Holmberg unable to find it. And then McCabe, trying to knock it out, has launched it into the Toronto bench and out of play. 10 minutes and 52 seconds remain here in the first period. The Leafs nothing and the Flames nothing. You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on Sportsnet 590, The Fan, and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
I'm David Webb from SiriusXM Patriot. Join me from the iconic Red Arrow Diner in Manchester, New Hampshire, an essential stop for aspiring presidential candidates. Diners can enjoy a sandwich named after me, the Webb Witch, while I sit down and talk with candidates, voters, and get their thoughts about the New Hampshire primary and beyond.
David Webb, live from the Red Arrow Diner, starting Monday, January 22nd on SiriusXM Patriot 125.
Under review.
The National Hockey League, it's the number one league in the world. It's a tough league. It's not shinny. I never wanted to become a league where the stars get an extra step or two. And there is a real divide with some people who go, the NHL doesn't do enough for its stars. No, what we like about hockey is it's a team game.
Under review with Mick Kerr, 11 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, SiriusXM 91, and the SiriusXM app.
NHL All-Star Weekend returns to Toronto, and SiriusXM NHL Network Radio brings you all the action.
Pass and a quick shot. Scores! Matthews!
Lost for Crosby for the HP. He's good.
Hear conversations with all-star players and coaches. All-Star Media Day, player draft, skills competition, and play-by-play of the 2024 All-Star Game. 2024 NHL All-Star Weekend live, beginning February 1st on NHL Network Radio, Channel 91 in the car, and on the all-new SiriusXM app.
The best hockey lives here.
Burns gets it back. Stick handles to the backhand. Moves in front. Score!
NHL play-by-play on SiriusXM.
Leafs Radio Network.
Leafs nothing and the Calgary Flames no score. First period action coming from the Scotiabank Saddledome, which is going to be history in a few years when the Flames get their new building done. Played around the boards and back of the net in the Leaf zone. Calgary banks it to the point. Hanifin is able to keep it in back of the net. Trying to come out on the jam play at the side of the net is Lindholm. But having none of it with his pad up against the post was Jones to stop play and bring a face-off in the Toronto end.
Well, even though the Flames have had the only power play this game, shots are even at 5 apiece. I don't think you have to tell Brad Treliving how important an overtime record is. You can talk about the loser point and how that can be valuable. But last year, Calgary Flames missed the playoffs by 2 points. 2 points back of the Winnipeg Jets. They lost 17 overtime shootout games.
Wow.
And missed the playoffs by 2 points.
Well, they've only lost one this year. At home, anyway. So 5 over the course of the season. Leafs have 8. Shot from the point, swallowed up again by Jones. And another faceoff coming at that. It's a funny statistic. It really is. I mean, we didn't win, but then, at least we got a point.
Yep.
But
when you lose 17 of them.
No, then there's that. That questions the situation a little bit.
And you know what it does? It costs people jobs, too. That's how Brad Treliving ends up in Toronto. Errol Sutter's replaced behind the Calgary bench.
Draw one by Toronto, which leads one to believe that if you're going to be a coach in the National Hockey League, you need to spend some time at practice working on 3-on-3.
Or penalty shots.
Yes. Yep.
One or the other, 10:08 to go. And
one of the things, and I know it's the philosophy of it now, coming in slowly, coming in off the side and everything else. Yet, if the game is on, you aren't coming in slowly. And you're forcing the goaltender to move because you have speed attacking but then it's, and I for the love of God, I don't know why they do that.
Well, guy in Washington's made a pretty good career out of coming in slow, hasn't he?
Yeah. Played back to the point, kept alive by Weegar. He'll get it into the slot. It's intercepted by the Leafs, and a push out for Nylander was not successful. Turns into an icing, and it'll come back into the Leaf end.
Well, that was Matthew Nyes that time. I think he elevated that a couple of feet, trying to hit Willie Nylander, maybe thinking Nylander could get in behind the defense. But that wasn't the case, and a face-off back down into the Leaf zone.
Well, there are a lot of Leaf fans right behind the Leaf bench, as was the case in Edmonton the other night. You know, more expensive seats are being gobbled up by Toronto fans. Down into the corner. Flames work it out on the near boards, trying to work free as Dubé sends it around to the far side. Trapped by Anderson. Sent to the net. Down is Jones with the traffic jam in front, but Giordano doing a good job, along with Liljegren, of tying up some of the Flames in front of the goal to bring a stoppage of play. The Leafs nothing and the Flames nothing. You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on Sportsnet 590, The Fan and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
What's up, Leafs fans? Another awesome night here on TSI. Thank you to each and every one of you for hanging out with us. Please don't forget to hit that like button, as it helps bring more Leafs fans into the chat. The more the better. A big shout out to our insiders and VIP members. Your support is truly appreciated. I cannot explain to you what it means for this community. Please consider joining our community. It's only 99 cents a month. I made it as low as possible so that we can get more and more people joining our community. Awesome member exclusive emojis in the chat during these Leafs games, and add your name to the scroll down below. Anyways, enough of the necessary evils to keep growing this amazing Toronto sports community and Maple Leafs community. Back to Leafs hockey. Go Leafs go. I'll see you guys in the chat. Peace.
Take your picture with the Stanley Cup. Meet NHL All-Stars and alumni. Play hockey games. Party with the NHL mascot. It's now. Visit NHL.com/fanfare.
Unhibernate. Verb. To laugh in the face of snow because you drive a Subaru. As in, when I unhibernate, I have the roads all to myself because my Subaru has symmetrical full-time all-wheel drive and others don't. Or, the award-winning safety in my Subaru means I can unhibernate all winter while my neighbors stare longingly from their bedroom windows. Or my favorite usage, I am going to unhibernate this winter by visiting my local Subaru dealer today. Welcome to Uncommon Winter Confidence.
You're listening to Toronto Maple Leafs hockey. You know that's game on Sportsnet 590, The Fan and the Leafs Radio Network.
Martin Jones and Dan Vlader are the starting netminders, brought to you by Superior Door and Gate Systems, Canada's top choice for automatic doors and security gates, security fencing, and bollards. Because security can only be measured by what it will save you. No score, first period. 9:28 to go in it. Flames have the puck down in the Toronto zone and have 8 shots on goal. The Leafs have 4. Flames with it again. Coming out with a pass is Lindholm to the far side for Anderson. Chopped back deep into the zone against Morgan Riley. Brought out back of the net. A centering pass. Foul. Good play by Nyes to lift the stick of the... And then a shot from the point. Takes a funny bounce and beats goaltender Jones for a 1-0 lead. Nyes had just made a great play lifting the stick of a Calgary player. But as it goes back to the blue line, that took a funny hop somehow.
Yeah, I think, it's going to be Sharon Govich, Joe, that's going to get credit for it. So this will be a redirection in front, and the former New Jersey Devil, Sharon Govich, has been outstanding for the Calgary Flames, and this is like a mid-air redirection. Anderson lets it go from the point, and Sharon Govich deflects it out of mid-air and has his 19th of the season. And that is now 7 goals, Joe, in his last 5 games, which included a 3-goal game in Arizona against the Coyotes. But the Leafs really have had very little offensive zone time here in the first period.
Domi launching the puck high into neutral ice. It'll go down into the Flame zone. Yarncrook chases, pinching to keep it in as McCabe. He works around back of the net, but it goes into the far corner. The other defenseman now comes down to play it in a little deeper. Into the slot area, backhand pass for Domi, kick wide of the net. Bertuzzi unable to get to it, knocks his man down. Bertuzzi centers, Yarncrook with a shot. That went off a leg. Bertuzzi trying to come up with it again. Settles it down to McCabe. D to D it goes, and Benoit with a shot that doesn't make it through. And now the Flames will work it out at center ice. Backlund sending it down into the Toronto end. McCabe in around back of the goal, kicks it into the near corner, and McCabe is going to get to the loose puck and carry it out. McCabe slowly to center. Leafs are in the midst of a change. Fed around the boards to the far side. Dragged in a little deeper by the Maple Leafs, and then McMahon had to go off his skate before he could make a play out in front of the goal. And now an errant pass by Calgary will result in an icing call.
The Leafs just 4 shots on goal, and I don't think you'd consider any of them dangerous, would you?
Anderson and Huberdeau are the assists on the goal. 7:52 left to go in the first period. Draw one by Toronto. Fed back to the blue line to Marner. Marner with a pass in, a backhand, and then a forehand shot by Giordano went wide of the net as he was down in front of the net. Marner trying to get it free as it goes into the far corner. Hustles in there after. Got it back to Matthews, who got a shot away, and it goes off a skate and goes up into the screen and out of play. Sharon Govich with his 19th of the year. Anderson and Huberdeau with the assists. And Huberdeau, what a horrible season a year ago after the big trade with Florida. But a better season this year, but still not anything close to what he was in his final season in Florida, where he was among the league leaders in points.
115 points his last season with the Florida Panthers.
Left wing side for Huberdeau. Got a shot away and another pass in front. That shot went wide, and the Leafs are countering out at center ice. Marner with one man back looks for a pass and then tried to find Riley, but it never did reach him. And now here's Matthews playing it back along the boards. Bertuzzi punches it in a little deeper. Marner goes in there after it. McCabe thinking about pinching as the puck comes free, and it'll be pushed up on the right side, and Sharon Govich will get to center and just play it into the Leaf end. McCabe settles it down in front of his own goal. 6:40 left to play in the period. Long errant pass that goes for icing, and it's coming all the way back into the Leaf end.
Shots on goal now 10-4 in favor of the Calgary Flames. And one thing you could say, I mean, the Leafs have blown leads, but they've had some pretty decent starts. This is not one of them. If you're wondering how they'd respond, Martin Jones has actually made a couple of saves, or this could be a lot worse than 1-0 Calgary.
10-4 the shots right now favoring the Flames. Ruzicka in the face-off circle. Draw one. A pass. Goes off the skate and wide of the Leaf goal. McCabe trying to play it out. Had it hit a skate. Gets it back again. Benoit off the boards to the line. And it's going to be offside as it got bogged down right at the blue line. And so another faceoff coming outside the Toronto zone with 6:23 left to play in the first period.
Yes, and Jonathan Huberdeau, his new deal just kicked in this year. And he was signed the summer of the trade when Matthew Tkachuk went to the Florida Panthers in exchange for Huberdeau. And he's only had in 122 games played with the Calgary Flames 78 points. And we mentioned 115 his last year in Florida. But I mean, when it happened, you thought, you know what, Tkachuk might have wanted out of Calgary, but
you thought it was Calgary got a pretty deal. Yeah, sure did. But Huberdeau didn't come along with Barkov, and that was a big difference. And he struggled last year. Leafs in the center ice area. Gregor chipping it to the blue line. And the Flames will go back in their own zone. Try to play it up on the wing, and they do. And now a left wing feed. Gets it to center ice. And it is shot into the Toronto zone by Lindholm. Leafs back of the goal. That struck the goaltender and almost bounced out in front of the net. But now Brody has launched it high to center ice, and Marner gets it in over the line, looks for a pass, back to the blue line. Liljegren cross ice to the defense. It comes back to Marner. Marner with a shot in traffic. That was kicked away by Blatter. The puck in on the far board, swept around the wall. It comes from Matthews to Liljegren. Set back behind. And that went by everybody to Marner, and then Marner fans on a pass, and the Flames get a chance to get it out, and they do, but it's an errant pass, and it turns into an icing. So back in the Calgary zone it will come with 5:03 to play in the first period. 1-0 Flames.
For Willie Nylander, as we mentioned, just 3 assists in his last 5 games. He does not have a point in his last 4. And again, when you start looking at 1-goal losses and blown leads and everything else, there's all these other little factors that come in. As we said, in the 4-game losing streak and blowing the leads, not one third-period goal during that stretch.
Mangiapane gets it down into the Leaf end. Took a hit from Domi, then fell. The puck still free.
Tripping. Morgan Riley is maybe getting his second penalty of the season. He shakes his head. It looks like Calgary, I think, is going to go back to the power play.
Toronto penalty number 44.
And it is a penalty to the Leafs. You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
The end of an era in New England.
When the sports world is talking, nobody gives you more perspectives than the experts of Sirius XM.
That will be someone other than Bill Belichick along the sidelines.
Hear instant reaction on Mad Dog Sports Radio.
This is the single greatest run in the history of professional sports. It will never be duplicated.
And expert analysis on NFL radio.
24 years of sustained success. It was just magical.
Live sports talk when you need it is on Sirius XM in the car and on the all-new Sirius XM app.
The Point with Boomer Gordon.
You think, can you pay the guy? I think what we've learned the last 4 years is that you can. Tampa, Colorado, Vegas. They were all built on elite superstar talent. But what they also had was great management. And that's the one thing the Leafs haven't done. They've never done. Dubas never did it. I think we could all argue Treliving's not off to a great start trying to do it this year. Becomes a huge challenge.
Points with Boomer Gordon. 1 p.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app.
If you're a soccer fan, you know that this music means one thing. The Champions League is on Sirius XM FC.
Hat-trick for Erling Haaland. Kane scores!
The top teams from around Europe are battling for club soccer's holy grail.
Real Madrid do what they do best. What a start for Inter!
Hear all the top Champions League matches all tournament long on Sirius XM FC 157 and streaming on the Sirius XM app.
Join me, Gord Stellick, and Scott Laughlin as we recap the night that was on NHL Morning Skate, weekday mornings at 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91.
And the Leafs Radio Network.
1-0 Calgary. First period presented by Bet365. Visit the app for the latest odds and find out why it's never ordinary at Bet365. Plus, must be 19 plus. Ontario only. Play responsibly. Power play for the Calgary Flames. Morgan Riley with just his second penalty, and that was just a couple of games ago that he took his first against Detroit. And the draw scrummed, poked back to the blue line, trapped there. Walking the line with it is Uyghur over on the far side. A pass back for Huberdeau, down low and a centering feed. Goes off a Leaf player and into the net. What a break here for the Flames as it goes in off Mark Giordano when the puck was going wide. And Nazem Kadri may be getting credit for the goal.
Well, the other thing that goes wrong in this 4-game losing streak coming in is the Leafs have now, and this is Kadri fans on the puck. As he gets it in the high slot, fans on it, and it goes, and you're right, it's going about 10 feet wide, but then goes off the right skate of Mark Giordano, and Martin Jones can't recover. This is not a rocket, but because Jones was moving from his right to his left. That opened up the 5-hole, and the Calgary Flames are the team now with a 2-0 lead.
Nazem Kadri gets his 16th goal of the season. And the former Leaf has certainly found a home in Calgary. Played off the glass to the line, but not out. Swept back in by Calgary. Kadri with it again. A pass in front. And that was deflected just wide of the net as Zeri was coming in off the left wing. Leafs are able to play it ahead. And now McCabe gets it to Bertuzzi. He shoots it in. Weegar took a piece of him. Marner is taken to the boards efficiently by Rasmus Andersson. Now Matthews working the boards on the far side. Holmberg tries to help out. Got a shot away that was deflected wide of the goal. And the Flames have it around to the left wing side. And Weegar gets it out into neutral ice. Leafs play to an open wing. Flames get there first. Hanifin backhands it into the Toronto end. 2-0 Calgary first period. So the Leafs have given up 6 straight goals. As a long shoot-in is going to be covered up by the Calgary netminder for a face-off with 3:25 left to go in the period. And not much Mark Giordano could do. I mean, it's trying to stop. His skates are facing north-south. And then the easy shot, the fanning shot of Kadri is a perfect carom, and Kadri's got a big grin on his face on the bench, and he should, because that was a bit of a gift goal. Flames play it back along the boards and punch it to the line and out. Now a foot race for it. Working in over the line, Sharangovich with a shot. That went off the crossbar, and it's around back of the net. Leafs could have been down 3. Played into the center ice area for Tavares. He can't get to it in time. Hanifin round back of the net. Tavares took him to the boards. Puck along the wall with Nylander trying to get it out. Gets it back to the point. Near side. Here's Benoit with a shot. That was deflected wide. Nyes back of the goal for Nylander. Trying to play it along the board, but he fanned on it, and the Flames have it out into the center ice area and narrowly missed going on a 2-on-1. Nyes gets it back into the offensive zone. Played out on the left wing. Dubé will send it in over the line. Turning with it is Brody. Well, the Leafs aren't going to have to worry about blowing a lead. They're going to have to worry about trying to overcome one here. Back of the net goes David Camp. Rolls it in front. That went off a skate, but went the wrong way after it went off that skate. Pass comes back up at center. Backhanded in again by Noah Gregor. Gregor goes after it. Had a pretty good hook applied to him by Elias Lindholm. At the point, a long shot goes wide of the Calgary goal. Kept in by Gregor momentarily. And the Flames are going to be able to break it out as Huberdeau gets it up on the wing. Huberdeau going hard to the front of the net. A pass down low. Huberdeau took the goaltender right out of the picture, and Jones has lost his stick. But the Leafs are going to get the puck out at center ice. They don't get it in deep. Now when they do, it comes to Matthews, who scores! Well, the Leafs had a bad break on the second goal, and the Flames get a bad break here. They look like they're in good position. It goes off a skate. Matthews steps around and snaps it home to cut the lead in half.
And really a very harmless-looking play. And I believe it was Elias Lindholm, Joe, that turned the puck over. And don't forget, this comes after Calgary's Sharangovich hit the goalpost. No, it might have been DeSimone, the defenseman, that lost it trying to get it up to Lindholm. And Austin Matthews, this puck barely stays in at the Calgary line, and Matthews jumps on it, and from the high slot, snaps it low glove to get the Leafs on the board. That could be a huge goal because the Leafs had nothing going on. That's just their 6th shot on goal.
It'll be unassisted. And Austin Matthews in back-to-back games, now 35 on the season. Brought to center by Toronto. Into the slot for Matthews. He got a shot away, and it was off the mark wide. And one of the Flames is down in the corner and has been hurt. And I'm not sure what happened there, because Matthews was going in that direction and shot the puck, but it is Martin Pospisil who is down and in some discomfort.
Yeah, he fell very awkwardly in the corner to the right of the Calgary net. And appears to be in discomfort as he is still face down in the corner.
Now getting up on his haunches, but we'll wait and see what the replay of this shows. I don't know. Maybe it was at the follow through after the shot that Matthews took.
I don't believe there was any contact made.
No, that was the strange part about it. There was just this body in the corner.
Watch it again. Pospisil, this was skate on skate.
Yeah, Matthews is trying to turn to his left, and Pospisil's skate clips the back of Matthews' skate. He loses his balance and ends up crashing into the boards. And he's limping rather noticeably, not putting a lot of weight on one of his legs as he's going to be escorted to the Flames dressing room. Kind of a strange play, but certainly wasn't a trip by the normal standards.
Well, the way things have been going.
No kidding.
I mean, that's the one thing about this stretch now, 4+ games. And the Leafs, is it Noah Gregor going to get the, or Marner, Joe? Just looking at the rebound here, this was swatted. The Matthews goal was kept in.
McManus and Nylander are getting assists. McMahon and Nylander. Isn't that a bit of a gift? I mean, they took assists away the other night from everybody. Then
in Toronto, yeah. The judgment's a little tougher in Toronto.
No kidding. Here's Backlund getting across the line. Flames turn the puck over. Played out at center ice for Nylander, but out of his reach. Flames get it back and down into the Toronto zone with less than a minute to go in the period. Puck up against the end boards. Domi trying to fish it free with Riley's assistance. It comes into the slot, played back to the blue line, and it'll come to center ice. Christopher Tanev thought about shooting it in, then thinks better of it. Flames are changing. 22 seconds left to play in the period. Brought to center and shot into the Toronto zone. Down into the corner it goes for Huberdeau. Dug out by Brody. Played up on the wing for Tavares, and his feed at center didn't connect with Marner. And 2 seconds left in the period. Time will run out. So the Flames jump to a 2-0 lead on goals by Sharon Govich and Kadri on the power play. But Austin Matthews is able to get one on the board for the Maple Leafs late. And it's 2-1.
And the 4-game losing streak coming in, this was probably the Leafs, this was definitely the Leafs' least impressive opening period. Maybe they're just trying to find a different formula, Mr. Bowen.
No.
Hard to blow leads when you don't have one.
No, that's exactly right. And they trail 2-1 here after 20 minutes of play. Eilish Forfar and Justin Cuthbert standing by with our first period intermission. You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
Hey, it's Buzz Brainerd, host on The Highway and the Music Row Happy Hour. And I'm here to tell you about the brand new Sirius XM app. Check out my new personal page on the fully redesigned app to see all the places you can hear me, keep up with all my latest interviews, shows, and more. It's easy. Just search Buzz in the app to find me, then keep exploring to add all your SiriusXM favorites and cool stuff you discover to your library.
The Point with Boomer Gordon.
You think, can you pay the guy? I think what we've learned the last 4 years is that you can. Tampa, Colorado, Vegas. They were all built on elite superstar talent. But what they also had was great management. And that's the one thing the Leafs haven't done. They've never done. Dubas never did it. I think we could all argue Treliving's not off to a great start trying to do it this year. Becomes a huge challenge.
Points with Boomer Gordon. 1 p.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app. Under review.
The National Hockey League, it's the number 1 league in the world. It's a tough league. It's not shinny. I never wanted to become a league where the stars get an extra step or two. And there is a real divide with some people who go, the NHL doesn't do enough for its stars. No, what we like about hockey is it's a team game.
Under review with Mick Kerr, 11 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app.
NHL All-Star Weekend returns to Toronto, and SiriusXM NHL Network Radio brings you all the action.
Pass and a quick shot. Scores! Matthews! Lost for Crosby for the HP. He's good!
Hear conversations with all-star players and coaches. All-Star Media Day, player drive, skills competition, and play-by-play of the 2024 All-Star Game. 2024 NHL All-Star Weekend live. Beginning February 1st on NHL Network Radio, Channel 91 in the car, and on the all-new SiriusXM app.
NHL Morning Skate.
Chris Knobloch, head coach of the Edmonton Oilers. No coaching experience in Paul Coffey. What's that been like as far as a rather unique fit as an assistant?
If you look at all the things that have improved with our team, and maybe even the most is how well our defense has been playing. Paul's done a great job of communicating with him and getting a message on just playing assertively.
NHL Morning Skate with Scott Laughlin and Gord Stellick. Weekdays 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app.
If you're a soccer fan, you know that this music means one thing. The Champions League is on Sirius XM FC.
Hat-trick for Erling Haaland. Kane scores!
The top teams from around Europe are battling for club soccer's holy grail.
Real Madrid do what they do best. What a start for Inter!
Hear all the top Champions League matches all tournament long on Sirius XM FC 157 and streaming on the Sirius XM app.
The Power Play with Steve Koulias.
I'm with John Cooper, head coach of the Lightning.
Can you kind of talk about your relationship with your captain?
You know, whether I say it's a friendship or whatever we have, our bond is it's really come and really evolved over the years. He's one of the greatest, he's our greatest ambassador, but I think he's one of the greatest ambassadors for the sport. You know, the kid's a class act, and it's been really a pleasure to watch.
The Power Play, weekdays 3 p.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app.
Join me, Gord Stellick, and Scott Laughlin as we recap the night that was on NHL Morning Skate, weekday mornings at 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91.
And the Leafs Radio Network.
The Leafs are going to get the puck out at center ice. They don't get it in deep. Now when they do, it comes to Matthews, who scores! Well, the Leafs had a bad break on the second goal, and the Flames get a bad break here. They look like they're in good position. It goes off a skate. Matthews steps around and snaps it home to cut the lead in half.
Welcome back to Molson Leafs Hockey on Sportsnet 590, The Fan and the Maple Leafs Radio Network. Ailish Forfar and Justin Cuthbert here. Maple Leafs. They're doing something smart tonight. You can't blow a lead if you never had one. That's the plan.
Respect to them for coming up with said strategy to cool everyone off, at least on the blown leads.
Blowing leads.
But that just wasn't a particularly good period for the Maple Leafs, really, by any stretch of the imagination. In terms of scoring chances, 12-4 in favor of the Flames. Even worse ratio when looking at it 5-on-5. The Maple Leafs had one real standout play in the period, and that's the only reason why they're not down by multi-goals. And that belonged to Austin Matthews. That's just another example of the brilliance of number 34, a awesome goal. Just a perfect little bit of skill to cut the deficit. But if we're talking about the large majority of moments in that period, it was pretty unimpressive in terms of the blue and white.
Specifically unimpressive when you look at how important this game is. And I know every game, is just part of the regular season and it can be a slugfest. But Maple Leafs have lost 4 in a row. They're playing against Calgary Flames, who are on a 4-game winning streak. Your new GM is the former GM of this team, and of course it means a lot to come back and play your old team in the old barn. You've got revenge angles on the other side of the ice, Nazem Kadri, etc. You have players on your team that used to be former Flames. Like, you should be elevating a little bit to come out and play with that lackluster effort for the first period. They're lucky it's not 4-1. There's a couple posts. The 2 goals that the Flames did get were both unlucky bounces, so you can't.
Give Sharangovich credit for the tip.
Yeah. Okay. I'll give him credit for the tip.
There was one definite lucky bounce, and I guess that's the difference in the game. I will say the tip,
I don't know how intentional the tip is. Was it? Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Don't take that away.
No.
Igor.
It was a nice tip, but John Tavares is basically standing there with
John Tavares is celebrating a Leaf goal with his stick in the air while he's trying to mark Sharangovich.
It was weird.
It wasn't a great play defensively for the Maple Leafs. I did think the tip was good, but yeah.
The other one, literally, it was a fan shot that goes off of Giordano's foot into the net. So we'll give him 1 for 1.
That said, on the balance of play, Flames probably deserving of 2 goals in that period.
It should be at least, it could be 4-1. So they're lucky to skate off the ice with it being 2-1. Austin Matthews, where would they be without Austin Matthews, right? I think that goal comes at such an important time. The Leafs are already trailing 2-0. They just we saw a post from Sharangovich again. the ice is completely tilted to one direction, and he finds an opportunity, makes a beautiful move off a bit of a tiny turnover, and puts the puck in the net immediately. Like he has a dramatic punch for when it needs to happen. He took that team and kind of stopped that momentum for the Flames when it needed to happen. Because if you're going into the dressing room down 2, it could have been down 3, you could have been down more than that. Like Matthews, that could be hopefully the turning point going into the second period, right? They need to go in the locker room and figure this out. But do they play for something in the second period? Like, do they realize that there are discussions about their coach? There are discussions about, hey, you're playing for something. You're in a second wild card spot at this time. Like, do we see some urgency in the second? Like, that's this whole Leafs season.
Yeah, some of it's obvious, right? It's working hard, it's energy, it's intent, it's ambition, it's those things, right? Like some of that stuff you can see, it's not exactly measurable, but when you're watching the game, at least in that first period, you saw a Calgary Flames team that just looked like they were a little bit more interested. And maybe there's a little paralysis by analysis, or maybe the analysis being what's happening outside of the Maple Leafs room for some. But it just looked like there's a tentativeness, like they weren't really on it, certainly when compared to the Edmonton game where Mitch Marner's right. They were really good for moments of that game, and then other points
and they still lost,
they weren't. But I haven't seen anything that resembles the Edmonton game yet, admittedly from both teams, but certainly from the Maple Leafs, who don't look like they've had that same effort. We'll say 35th goal of the year, NHL league leading. 23.8% of the Maple Leafs goals still to this point in the season scored by Austin Matthews, which underscores that, hey, they're relying a little bit too much on moments like the one Matthews provided in the first period.
The Leafs have never lost 5 games in regulation in a row under Sheldon Keefe. A span of more than 4 years and 300-plus games. And he's the guy that everyone's talking about in the media. So I wonder what that means to that locker room.
It's interesting, right? Because, like, how could you ever suggest bad things are happening with the Maple Leafs when, for the first time, we're on the cusp of the worst losing streak they've had under Keefe? Makes you think like there's, something that is going on with this team.
There could be. We'll take a quick break. On the other side, we'll take a look at the out-of-town scoreboard, which is a busy one. So I'm going to give you extra time on the other side of the break, Justin. Feels like everyone's in action tonight. And we'll get you set for the second period. You're listening to Molson Leafs Hockey on Sportsnet 590, The Fan, and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
Every year, fans debate over the draft. Who's going first? At Chuck's, they already know. The top draft choice is that icy cold 18-ounce Molson Canadian you're holding, and it's just $4 at Chuck's during Leafs games. No wonder that at draft time, Canadians are always in high demand. Chuck's Roadhouse Bar and Grill. Food the way it ought to be. Price the way it used to be.
NHL All-Star Thursday is coming to Toronto with 3 exciting events in one star-filled night. First, celebrity captains select their teams in the Tim Hortons NHL All-Star Player Draft. Then, the 1967 Stanley Cup champion Maple Leafs are honored in the NHL Alumni Man of the Year. And finally, the best in women's hockey compete in the Canadian Tire PWHL 3-on-3 Showcase. It's NHL All-Star Thursday on February 1st. Buy tickets now, starting at $44 at NHL.com/Thursday.
Move up to Heathwood. Hi, I'm Hugh Herwin. Experience true luxury at Williamsburg Green in Kitchener. Williamsburg Green is everything you want in a community. Enjoy fabulous trails, parks, playgrounds, sports areas, and more. Our beautiful all-brick homes include luxury features you've always dreamed of, even a fully finished lower level. It's time to move up to Heathwood. Learn more at heathwood.com.
In Toronto's war on crime, the worst offenders are pursued by the detectives of the Specialized Criminal Investigations Unit. These are their stories. Law & Order Toronto Criminal Intent premieres February 22nd on City TV.
City TV has all new episodes of Chicago Med, Fire, and PD.
Listen up, mass casualties en route.
How do I fix it?
You go back to work.
Chicago Wednesday on City TV, or stream it on City TV Plus.
There are many peculiar words in the English language. Words like solivigant, peregrinate, nemophilus, peripatetic, and conviviality. Yet, there is no word for getting the most out of winter in your Subaru, thanks to symmetrical full-time all-wheel drive and X-Mode. Until now. We call it unhibernate. As in, while your neighbors stay home, you'll be unhibernating all winter in your Subaru. So peregrinate to your local Subaru dealer today. And welcome to uncommon winter confidence.
Truck.ca. So when you gotta move, all moving day. Think 2-minute truck.ca. Cause all of us movers are not the same. So that's our company name, 2-minute-truck.ca. We're lots of men with lots of trucks, so give us a call today.
You're listening to Toronto Maple Leafs hockey on Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Leafs Radio Network.
Welcome back to Molson Leafs Hockey on Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Maple Leafs Radio Network. 2-1 for the Flames after 20 minutes. Lots of games going on. Let's start with that. Let's get that one going. Let's take a look at the out-of-town scoreboard presented by Bet365. Visit the app for the latest odds and find out why it's never ordinary at Bet365. Must be 19 plus, Ontario only. Play responsibly.
Yeah, one of those rare busy nights where we got a bunch of finals to report.
It's already 10 p.m.
It's
here.
already 10 p.m. The Senators beat the Canadiens 6-2. The Bruins got a 5-2 win over the Avalanche. The Flyers beat the Stars 5-1. Just a brilliant goal from Owen Tippett in that game. Got to check that one out. The Lightning beat the Wild 7-3. Sabres beat the Blackhawks 3-0. Capitals got a 5-2 victory over the Blues. And the Kraken hold a 2-0 lead over the Oilers, end of one. Those are two hot teams at the moment. Still to come, we got the Golden Knights hosting the Rangers. That's a big game. Mm-hmm. The Canucks host the Coyotes, and the Predators will visit the Los Angeles Kings. 2-1 Flames right now, end of one in Calgary.
So it felt pretty inevitable that Nazem Kadri would find his way on the score sheet. It was one of our best bets earlier in the day. It's something about the Leafs, and he mentioned it earlier. We played the clip from Kipper and Bourne yesterday in their show. They had Nazem Kadri on, which is pretty awesome. And he said, yeah, you know what? It's real. We do play harder. Like, the NHL cares more about playing the Toronto Maple Leafs. He's obviously played for the Leafs. He's played for two other teams. He knows. And he admitted it, that it means more. And it looks like it's meant more to this Calgary Flames team tonight against the Toronto Maple Leafs.
Yeah, I do feel like it's stronger when it's actually in Toronto. I feel like that adds that extra layer to it. But that extra layer, the extra incentive, I don't think Nazem Kadri ever needs it when he's playing the Toronto Maple Leafs. We're going to pull up some splits, especially if he gets on the board again about his career against the Leafs. But this is a guy who got traded away and probably never really wanted to leave and went on and won a Stanley Cup and then made a lot of money with the Calgary Flames. But it still probably bothers him just a little bit that the Toronto Maple Leafs decided to give up on him.
All right, we get the second and third after this. As we mentioned, Maple Leafs on a 4-game losing streak, looking to turn this around against a red-hot Calgary Flames team. Joe Bowen and Jim Ralph will have the call of the second period next. You're listening to Molson Leafs Hockey on Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
Breaking news here. You know who's retiring? Nick Saban. My goodness gracious.
When the sports world is talking, nobody gives you more perspectives than the experts of SiriusXM.
We are saying goodbye to the greatest college football coach this sport has ever seen.
Hear instant reaction on Mad Dog Sports Radio.
College football is going to be a lot worse off without Nick Saban.
And expert analysis on college sports radio.
This is huge news. This is something that is going to have a massive domino effect on college football.
Live sports talk when you need it is on SiriusXM in the car and on the all-new SiriusXM app.
The Power Play with Steve Koulias.
And we're with John Cooper, head coach of the Lightning.
Can you kind of talk about your relationship with your captain?
You know, whether I say it's a friendship or whatever we have, our bond is it's really come and really evolved over the years. He's one of the greatest, he's our greatest ambassador, but I think he's one of the greatest ambassadors for the sport. You know, the kid's a class act, and it's been really a pleasure to watch.
The Power Play, weekdays 3 p.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91 and the Sirius XM app. The Point with Boomer Gordon.
You think, can you pay the guy? I think what we've learned the last 4 years is that you can. Tampa, Colorado, Vegas. They were all built on elite superstar talent. But what they also had was great management. And that's the one thing the Leafs haven't done. They've never done. Dubas never did it. I think we could all argue Treliving's not off to a great start trying to do it this year. It becomes a huge challenge.
Points with Boomer Gordon. 1 p.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91 and the Sirius XM app.
If you're a soccer fan, you know that this music means one thing. The Champions League is on Sirius XM FC.
Hat-trick for Erling Haaland. Kane scores!
The top teams from around Europe are battling for club soccer's holy grail.
Real Madrid do what they do best. What a start for Inter.
Hear all the top Champions League matches all tournament long on Sirius XM FC 157 and streaming on the Sirius XM app.
Hi, this is Ray Hudson, and for all the biggest matches from club soccer's holy grail, the UEFA Champions League, tune in to Sirius XM FC 157.
Leafs Radio Network.
Every once in a while, you need to buy a newspaper and just take a look at this. Well, I guess you just do it online now. I guess it's a lot easier, right? But looking at the standings never hurt. And the Washington Capitals have won tonight. They have 50 points. That's exactly what the Maple Leafs have. And they are in danger of falling out of a playoff spot maybe as early as later on this evening.
Yeah, and yet you come back and win this game. You're back to third in the division. You're a point back of the Detroit Red Wings. Leafs are actually, and this is a huge game for Calgary as well. Obviously, everything is. They're 2 points back of the Edmonton Oilers and the Nashville Predators, who both are in the 2 wildcard spots.
Leafs to the right, Flames to the left, and the Flames bring the puck out into the center ice area, and it's shot in by Toronto native Christopher Tanev. The Leafs push it to the line, but Tanev is there, got it into the slot. Good play by Matthews to steal the puck from Michael Backlund, but then he can't get in over the line against Tanev. Brought back now by the Flames. Coleman will send it around the boards. Blake Coleman having a great season for the Flames with 38 points, 20 goals on the year. Shot in on Jones is deflected wide of the net. And the Leafs are able to get it out at center, and Tavares will chip it in. He is stood up efficiently, though, by Mackenzie Weegar. And now the Flames have it under control in their own zone. Weegar coming out. Got it up on the right side. Brought on by Rasmus Anderson into the corner. Stood up there by Benoit. It comes back to the blue line. Trapped by Weegar. Weegar sends it down into the corner. Off the skate of McCabe. Puck comes back to the point again. Near side Anderson to Weegar. A shot right on, and that was stopped by goaltender Jones. And now the Leafs have it in their own zone, and the puck comes out to our McCabe on the left wing. McCabe trying to bounce it in. Had it partially blocked. Nylander was able to steal it back. Tried to get it into the corner for Tavares. Round the boards, it's going to go to the far wing for Bertuzzi. In front for Nylander, but he had to take it off his skate and couldn't get a shot away by the time he was able to get it onto his stick. Long shoot in, goes in on the Leaf net. Bertuzzi, he got hip checked there and knocked down on a play by Zary. And the Leafs get it out with Domi trying to chip it in over the line. Trapped it, unable to get to it though. And the Flames bank it off the near boards and get it down to the Leaf blue line. Here's Kadri dropping it back, and a shot is whistled just wide of the net as it comes back and in along the boards and back of the goal. Giordano couldn't get it out. Fanning on a shot was the defenseman, and it's around the boards now for Giordano, and Giordano will start out on the left wing. A bank pass ahead, deflects in off of Yarncrook. Calle Yarncrook trying to get to the 300-point plateau for his career. Needs one here in this game. He has 299. Brought in over the line and then stolen back by Backlund, who comes to center. Backlund in on the right side. Stopping it up is Mangiapane. Mangiapane has it stripped away, and Morgan Riley starts back with a nifty little pass for Noah Gregor. Gregor breaking in on the wing, couldn't get around the defense of Tanev. Chips it in a little deeper, but the Flames are there, and they're going to get it back to the blue line, and now trying to cycle it back in neutral ice as they get a change going. Noah Gregor with a pretty good hit to spring it free for Camp into the corner for McMahon. Round back of the net. Dragged it along the boards, but didn't have control of the puck. Flames get it to the line, kept in by Simon Benoit. The puck goes along the boards and onto the far corner, knocked down by the Maple Leafs. Camp with a wrist shot. That went high and wide. Benoit creeps back in from the left wing, tried to center. That was blocked on the short side at the post by Dan Blatter, the goaltender. Back to the point it comes for Marner. Marner makes a move, looking for a pass in on for Matthews, and it just failed to connect. Marner with it again. Working back at the blue line, still with it. Marner into the corner, still with it. Banks it back to the point, and a penalty is coming here to Calgary. Back into the slot for Nylander. Nylander with a shot. Good blocking save made by Vladar, but the Leafs have it again. Marner with it in the top of the circles. Into the corner for the Leafs. Back to the blue line from Matthews. Near side for Willie and a shot. That's blocked. He gets it again. Far side for Matthews, who scores! From his favorite spot. The Leafs don't wait for a power play, but they score with 6 attackers on the ice. And Austin Matthews has a pair, and this game is tied.
Leafs get some breaks. Calgary never does get control of the puck to get the whistle. Willie Nylander. Blake Coleman was going to go for tripping the Leaf defenseman. But Willie Nylander, Joe, has a one-timer that goes through a maze and then pops back out. And the Leafs are able to control it, and it's eventually Nylander to Austin Matthews. It was Jake McCabe that was tripped by Blake Coleman. That was a delay. But Austin Matthews, second goal of the game, the bottom of the right wing circle, that one-timer on a great seam pass by Willie Nylander.
And once again, he has got multiple goals in a game. As it's played in over the line and pushed out at center ice and down into the Leaf end, and an icing call is coming here against the Calgary Flames.
What about 22 goals in his last 21 games now?
Wow.
I mean, it is semi-ridiculous that you think if he goes 3 games without a goal, he's in a slump.
12th time this season that he has had multiple goal games.
He has now tied Darryl Sittler with 71 in his career. And how do you do that this early in your career? 71 multi-goal games.
Now puck back of the Calgary net. Bertuzzi gets it back to the blue line to Brody, to Nylander. Little room. Pass on the wing for a shot from Riley. And coming across was Dan Vladar, who may have made his best save right there. Good feed to Riley, who had broken down from his left point, and he got it away in a hurry, and Vladar had to get across quickly.
Again, it's another setup by Willie Nylander. And I think Morgan Riley, Joe, might have hesitated just a bit to make sure he could get it around Rasmus Andersson, the Calgary Flames defenseman, who came out with the 2-pad stack to try to get it past Anderson, but couldn't get it past Vladar.
Now they've taken the assist away from Nylander on Matthews' first goal. It's Gregor and McMahon getting the assist. So the fourth liners, in the midst of a change, get the assist there. Now Riley working in his own zone. Got it out at center ice, and Nylander with one man back works in over the line on the left wing, cuts to the middle, and as he tried to make a move there, he got knocked down, and the Flames have it back out into the center ice and down into the Leaf end. McCabe rings the boards for Benoit. Benoit sliding it further, chipped in then by Yarncrook. Out of the net is Vladar. A 2-2 tie as Austin Matthews has scored twice. Back in on the wing comes Dubé. Tried to get around Benoit but failed. McCabe working it up on the wing to push it ahead. And Domi will launch it to the line but not get it in deep. Then has it come back to him. And as he tried to play it back to the blue line, it comes out at center ice. Pass deflects into the zone. Flames have to go back after it. Shots are 13-10 now favoring Calgary. And we've got Benoit. Oh, we've got one of the Flames went to the wrong bench.
AJ Greer, boy, and then he gives Yarncrook a shot as well. And I don't know if we're going to get, if the Leafs are going to be the only team penalized here.
Oh, I think Benoit and Greer are going to the penalty box. Not sure what happened there. Yarncrook trying to get off the ice. Greer then, the door opens and Benoit pushes him in. Have a seat, boys. It's all in fun over here. No problems.
4-on-4 for 2 minutes.
Yeah, it's going to be Benoit, though. He was the one that pushed Greer through the gate and into the Leaf bench. So they're a little bit of 4-on-4 action.
Yeah. You don't want to go on your own. You're not like Darcy Tucker, who decided that he's going in on his own.
Or remember that famous Video of John Wensick.
Oh, yeah, standing up there
challenging the bench.
asking anybody who wanted to come off the bench to have a little playtime. Yeah, that's a famous part of the Don Cherry Big Bad Bruins, wasn't it? Played down into the flame zone. 4-on-4 hockey here. Nylander and Holmberg will get the assist on the tying goal. So Nylander's point streak, or non-point streak, if you will, is over. And now the Leafs working in their own zone. Brought on by Marner and across the line. Steps in with a shot, and that went off the skate of Anderson and went harmlessly wide. Anderson after it with Marner in pursuit. Marner was knocked down, but then knocks down Anderson, and the puck goes free back of the net. And Nazem Kadri has it. He tries a long lead pass to center that is broken up by the Leafs, but then stolen back by the Flames. A pass into the slot for Kadri didn't work, and the Leafs counter now with Tavares working through center. Tavares in over the line to Nylander on the wing. He stops it up. Back to Tavares in front of the net for Riley. A shot, and that deflects high off the glass. Nylander with it again. Looking in front. Took a shot that was stopped by Vladar. In goes the corner goes Tavares. He is tripped up, but no call. And out come the Flames with a chance on the left wing. Getting back was McCabe to break it up. And then Riley is tripped. And the official does make a call, but not the one who was 10 feet away from it. The guy who was in the middle of the rink calls the play.
Well, even when there was a delayed penalty on
Calgary,
Coleman
55,
earlier,
minor penalty, tripping.
the official in the end, 10 feet from where it happened, didn't have his arm up. Guy at center did, and the Leafs finally will go on their first power play of the night.
You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on Sportsnet 590, The Fan, and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
Bet365 doesn't do ordinary. That's why they've introduced the Same Game Parlay Plus. It's a game changer. Making a same game parlay across different games has never been easier because the biggest games and most popular markets are all in one place. Check out the Same Game Parlay Plus and find out why. It's never ordinary at Bet365. Must be 19 or older, Ontario only. Please play responsibly. If you or someone you know has concerns about gambling, visit connexontario.ca.
Unhibernate. Verb. To laugh in the face of snow because you drive a Subaru. As in, when I unhibernate, I have the roads all to myself because my Subaru has symmetrical full-time all-wheel drive and others don't. Or, the award-winning safety in my Subaru means I can unhibernate all winter while my neighbors stare longingly from their bedroom windows. Or my favorite usage. I am going to unhibernate this winter by visiting my local Subaru dealer today. Welcome to Uncommon Winter Confidence.
Move up to Heathwood. Hi, I'm Hugh Herron. Experience true luxury at Williamsburg Green in Kitchener. Heathwood's all-brick homes are built with upgraded features and elevated finishes. Chef-inspired kitchens, spa-like en-suites, and a fully finished lower level. Even better, Williamsburg Green has parks, playgrounds, and trails to explore. It's time to move up to Heathwood. Learn more at heathwood.com.
You're listening to Toronto Maple Leafs hockey.
Long shot, deflects in front of the goal. They backhand it into the net.
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Leafs Radio Network.
Tripping call coming, and the Maple Leafs to the power play as Hanifin is in the box.
It wasn't easy to tell which penalty was being called, was it? There were a couple Leafs went down while playing 4-on-4, but it was Noah Hanifin on Morgan Riley. As Riley picked up a loose puck right in front of his own net, tried to cut. Hanifin was up, got the stick into the skates.
Tavares wins the draw. Back to the point it comes to Nylander. Nylander down into the corner to Marner, playing with 4 forwards here on the power play, 4-on-3. Pass in front, Tavares tried to chip it by him, and it went off his skate and went wide. Nylander with it again. Far side for Matthews. Settles it down. Matthews top of the circles. Into the corner to Marner. Back it goes to Willie. Willie a cross pass. And a shot scores from Marner. They go through the box. And Mitch Marner very quickly gives the Leafs the lead on a power play goal that was orchestrated nicely by Nylander.
And as flat as the Leafs were in the first period, I mean, that goal by Austin Matthews late in the first period really has seemed to have gone to their legs here in the second. As you want your Fab Four to be the determining factor in a lot of games, then they are here. I mean, this looks like the video game setup, where it's Matthews down to Marner. Marner throws it across to the other circle to Nylander, who gives it right back to Mitch Marner. But what I like the most about it, Joe, John Tavares, although he's not going to get a point on this, right in front of the net, takes a man with him, and that opens the seam up. And the Leafs down 2-0 in this game. Buckle up, now have the lead.
A shot by Domi is blocked into the corner by Vladar. It goes into the boards area. Domi trying to punch it along the wall, couldn't get it back. And it is back of the goal now, and here are the Flames starting out with it. So after falling behind 2-0, the Maple Leafs have taken a page out of their own book and rallied from a 2-goal deficit to take the lead 3-2 here in the second period. Riley works out of his own zone, got it up on the right side. Yarncrook in across the line to Domi on the left wing, closing in, and that one off a skate. Another shot. Vladar's down, and he's sprawling out to try and cover up on it, and he has. Boy, Max Domi had some room there, didn't he?
Boy, and Vladar just does get his left toe on it. 11:23 to go. The Leafs holding on to the 3-2 lead. And I think Domi is looking for Matthew Nyes off the far post. Nyes was tied up, but never a bad idea to throw it into traffic. And the point shot that Vladar was able to locate. Kelly Yarncroc was sniffing around looking for the rebound before the whistle and the cover-up by Calgary.
Austin Matthews with a 3-point night. Nylander with a second assist as he gets it back to the point. A shot taken there, and traffic was blocked. The Leafs have now taken over the shots on goal lead at 17-13. So a much better period and a dominant performance here as Nylander in on the left wing. A pass then from Bertuzzi didn't connect. Back of the net for Nylander. Nylander gets away from one, works back to the blue line, stops, tried to settle it into the slot area for Tavares. That didn't connect. Backhanded again by the Leafs in deep. Back of the goal. Bertuzzi knocked down in front of the net. The Flames on Japani gets it out into the center ice area, and Rasmus Andersson in across the line with a pass back. Big play made there by Liljegren to break up the rush right in front of the Leaf goal. Giordano launches it down into the zone. Half a minute away from the midpoint of the game, and the Leafs lead 3-2. Turnover in the center ice area. The Leafs get it back. Played in off the left wing for Gregor. He gets there ahead of the defenseman to make sure there's no icing. Gregor down into the near corner. Cycles it back behind the net. Here's David Kampf trying to outfight a couple of Flames, but can't. And it's played up on the wing, and the Flames are going to get it out. Kadri comes to center. Kadri stops up, plays it to the defenseman on the left wing side. It's brought back in on the right wing with a shot in traffic, and that deflected just wide of the Leaf goal, and there was room on that far post.
Well, you could see about 2 feet blocker side, couldn't you?
Tanev in on the left wing. Stopping up is Huberdeau to the point. A long shot knocked down by the glove of Jones, but it comes back to Hanifin at the blue line. Fed off on the wing. Hanifin with it again. A long shot off the chest of Jones. Leafs are able to punch it to the boards, but not out. Tanev working back in with a pass in front. Down is Martin Jones to cover up. And Bobby McMahon cleans house out in front, getting Kadri out of the way. And Jones is able to stop play and bring a face-off in the Toronto zone. 9:26 to go in the second period, and the Leafs have turned it on. 3 unanswered goals to erase a 2-0 lead. It's 3-2 Toronto. You're listening to Maple Leaf Hockey on Sportsnet 590, The Fan, and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
As Green Day returns with their long-awaited new album, Saviors. Get ready for their epic summer 2024 tour with a limited-run SiriusXM channel, Green Day Radio, and an exclusive small-stage performance from the iconic Irving Plaza in New York City. Hear every note. Saturday, 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 Pacific. Channel 107 in the car and on the all-new SiriusXM app. Get closer to everything that moves you, wherever you are.
NHL All-Star Weekend returns to Toronto, and SiriusXM NHL Network Radio brings you all the action.
What's up, Leafs fans? Another awesome night here on TSI. Thank you to each and every one of you for hanging out with us. Please don't forget to hit that like button, as it helps bring more Leafs fans into the chat. The more the better. A big shout out to our insiders and VIP members. Your support is truly appreciated. I cannot explain to you what it means for this community. Please consider joining our community. It's only 99 cents a month. I made it as low as possible so that we can get more and more people joining our community. Awesome member exclusive emojis in the chat during these Leafs games, and add your name to the scroll down below. Anyways, enough of the necessary evils to keep growing this amazing Toronto sports community and Maple Leafs community. Back to Leafs hockey. Go Leafs go. I'll see you guys in the chat. Peace.
NHL play-by-play on SiriusXM
and the Leafs Radio Network.
Joe Bowen along with Jim Ralph, and we've got Armin Zagarian running the operation, and Hall of Famer Tom Young pushing the buttons for.
Always remember the first time hearing Tom Young's name was Tom and Jerry doing the Blue Jays.
Yeah.
Jerry would always mention Tom Young. It's great to see Tommy here.
Yeah. Played off the glass and out and down the ice, and an icing call against Toronto as a result. 9:12 left to play here in the second period. And after Sharon Govich and Kadri scored for Calgary in the first period, Matthews with numbers 35 and 36. And then Marner on a 4-on-3 power play, his 19th. And the Maple Leafs with a 3-2 lead. Shot from the point, deflects wide of the Leaf goal. Tanev able to punch it around to the far corner. Back to the point. It'll come to Tanev on the right point. And now gets it back from Huberdeau over on the left wing. Trying to work in there is Hanifin. He'll get into the corner. Got it around back of the net. The Leafs punch it up on the wing. And Marner gets some skating room to his liking and drops it out at center. Gets it back and chips it in over the line. Knocked down there by Hanifin. The puck back of the net. And out come the Flames to center ice. Sharon Govich sends it down into the corner. Round back of the net was Liljegren. Now Giordano is able to outfight his man. Springs Liljegren with some skating room. He'll come cross ice to Nylander. He circles back, and now back in his own zone finds Giordano. Giordano to Willie. Nylander coming through center. Got it in off a skate and into the zone. Goaltender Vladar out of the net to play it up on the boards. Knocked down there by Bertuzzi. He's in a fight for it along the wall, but it comes free, and the Flames will get it up on the wing. But there's Benoit pinching to keep it in against Zeri. And the Flames have to work it back the other way and send a rolling puck down that is going to be scooped up by goaltender Martin Jones to stop play with 7:53 left to go here in the period. And a faceoff coming in the Toronto zone.
A couple of things need to happen. Number one, Martin Jones has got to come up with a spectacular save, or at least guard against that one iffy goal that can turn things around that we've seen in the last 4 games or in the last while for the Leafs. And the other thing that wouldn't hurt us, get a goal from the third or fourth line. We saw how the Edmonton Oilers, it was their third line that scored 2 third-period goals that turned that game around 2 nights ago.
What else would be kind of nice to see is a John Tavares goal. At the point, a long shot, blocked, brought on and into the slot area, but a pass back to the point. Blake Coleman couldn't keep it in, and he goes back into his own zone. Coleman got it up on the right wing side. Anderson sends it down into the Toronto zone. McCabe in against the boards, ran into a traffic jam. Puck along the far side, cut off by McCabe. Tried to find Domi, that didn't work. Tavares out with Domi and Bertuzzi at this point. Shot there off the side of the net, goes around the boards, trapped at the near point. Flames to the left wing side. Long shot. Down is Jones. That bounced off his chest, but he was able to find it rather quickly and is able to put a stop to play, and a faceoff coming in the Toronto zone.
But it hurt even more than blowing the lead in Edmonton, Joe, is the fact that you held Draisaitl to a goal. Connor McDavid was neutralized for much of the night, which obviously is not an easy thing to do, and you still lost. It was the third line, not the top 2 lines of the power play of the Oilers that beat you. Having said that, and we talked about Martin Jones coming up with a big stop. Stuart Skinner came up with some unbelievable saves to keep Edmonton in it.
Played up on the boards by Riley. Knocked around the wall to the near side. Nyes trying to get it out, and he has. A delayed offside, but the Flames play it back at center. Brought on by Nyes. Nyes works in on the right side. Got a shot away. That was blocked before it reached the net. Nyes has it up against the end boards, back of the goal. Trying to come out in front, and Camp took a swipe at it. That didn't work. Leafs are able to keep it in momentarily, but the Flames get it to center, and it's turned over there, and Yarncrook will regroup. Yarncrook to Camp. Backhanded in, knocked down by the glove of the Flames defense. Quickly played up on the wing, broken up at the Leaf defense. Now Nyes in across the line with Matthews. Took a shot. Oh, and that was off the stick. A backhand by Matthews. Scores! Holy Mackinac, the big fella's got 3, and the Leafs have a 2-goal lead.
Matthew Nyes will pick up the assist. His shot coming over the blue line was gloved by Vladar, but Joe, he bats it right onto the stick of Austin Matthews, and Matthews, who looked like he was tied up, was able to get it on the backhand and fire it blocker side to double the Leafs lead. And Austin Matthews just outfought the defenseman, kept his eye on the puck. And Vladar, I mean, this is in his glove. But right back out to the high slot, not high slot, right back out to the hash marks. Matthews picks it up and just fires the backhand. And Austin Matthews has scored every possible way in this game, hasn't he? A one-timer, the high slot. He went low glove, and here's a backhand that goes blocker side to give the Leafs the 4-2 lead.
He had hat tricks in his first 2 games of the season. He has one here.
I believe this is number 5, Joe.
I think you're right.
Obviously, the opening 2 games against the Montreal Canadiens and Minnesota Wild. Austin Matthews had back-to-back hat tricks. Then had one at home against the Buffalo Sabres. Oh, that's going to be 4 on the year.
So a tremendous performance from Big Pappy as he fires home 3 goals in this second period. And if the Leafs needed to have some of the big boys step up, he has certainly stepped up big time.
Now you got to drag a bunch of guys with you. Like we said, I mean, the third and fourth lines have been solid tonight. They both had some scoring opportunities, some good offensive zone time, especially here in the second period. But you need some results, and I think from a Leaf standpoint, you can't say 6:21 left in the second period. Let's just try to shut it down and protect it.
Now another loose puck in front of the net is just knocked wide of the goal. And the Flames trying to work it out on the wing will get it out at center. Matthews with a 4-point night on a hat trick and 1 assist. And the Leaf fans are whooping it up at the Scotiabank Saddledome as it's played back down into the Flame zone, and around the boards it'll come to Christopher Tanev. Tanev will get the puck out at center, and it's going to be all the way down into the Leaf end, and an icing call. The Leafs were outshot 11-6 in the first period. They now have 20 shots on goal, 18 for the Calgary Flames.
I think Austin Matthews' goal was just the 5th shot of the period, was it not? The Leafs hung on to around the 4-shot mark for an extended period of time in the opening period. And Austin Matthews, 4 is his career high in points. He did that his first game.
Yes. Shot from the point is deflected just wide of the net. Along the boards, Riley centers in front. Tavares with a whack at it. Got a pretty good scoring chance there for the Leaf captain, but goaltender Vladar was able to come across and put the stop to it and hold on. The Leafs 4 and the Flames 2. Well, that's a 2-goal lead. You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
From the biggest stadiums to the coziest holes in the wall. From house parties to porch hangs to pride celebrations. From your favorite fuzz shop to your local Indian spot. From noodle bars to sports bars to salsa bars. There's a Molson with your name on it. Canadian, Ultra, XL. Molson. Everyone in. Must be legal drinking age.
Truck.ca. So when you gotta move, all moving day. Think 2-minute truck.ca. Cause all of us movers are not the same. So that's our company name, 2-minute truck.ca. We're lots of men with lots of trucks, so give us a call today.
At Bet365, we don't do ordinary. That's why we've introduced Same Game Parlay Plus. It's a game changer. Making a same game parlay across different games has never been easier because the biggest games and most popular markets are now all in one place. Check out Same Game Parlay Plus and find out why it's never ordinary at Bet365. Must be 19 or older. Ontario only. Please play responsibly. If you or someone you know has concerns about gambling, visit connectsontario.ca.
You're listening to Toronto Maple Leafs hockey. On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Leafs Radio Network.
The Leafs 4 and the Calgary Flames 2. As a huge second period by Toronto here has turned this game on its ear. Leafs keep the puck in off a face-off win. Tavares in against the boards, back of the goal, trying to chip it free. Nylander works on the wall, but it comes back to the point, kept in by the Maple Leafs. A shot by Brody, who picks up the additional assist on the last Matthews tally. Has it along the boards. Leafs trying to keep it in on the far side. Bertuzzi knocked his man down, still with the puck. Chops it high to Nylander, coming from behind the net, tried to center. That goes off a skate and goes high in the corner. Everybody had lost sight of it there for a moment. And the Flames trying to get it out. Now are able to punch it out into the center ice area, but Riley is there. Riley to Brody, back into Flames territory. Bertuzzi down the boards, punches it around back of the net. Grabbed onto, but one hands it back towards the blue line. Benoit sends it back into the corner and around to the far side. McCabe thinks about going back to the defense part, but gives it back to Bertuzzi. Bertuzzi can't find a man. The Leafs are able to come up with it. Then Domi decides better of holding on to it and then took it out into the neutral zone. And as it shot in, Vladar's going to cover up on it with 4:24 left to play in the second period. And what a turn of events. Matthews scoring in the first period to cut the lead by in half. But then in the second period at 4:08 from Nylander and Holmberg, his 36th. Then Marner on the power play from Nylander and Matthews at 7:44. And at 13:39, Matthews with the hat trick, Nyes and Brody with the assists. Nyes in the corner off a face-off win. Got it back to the blue line. Giordano sends it to the net, but it's blockered away easily there by Vladar. Flames back of their own goal. Tanev gets it up on the wing and to the line. It's brought in on a delayed offside. That is now whistled down by the linesmen, who are Keel Murchison and Ryan Gibbons. Graham Skilleter and TJ Luxmore are the referees.
Well, we mentioned Austin Matthews had a 4-point night, actually 4 points in his first two periods playing in the National Hockey League, but it's the 14th time that he's had a 4-point night. That's a career high. Let's hope it's enough, but we might need a career game for Austin Matthews to hold on to a 2-goal lead.
Well, if you're going to correct something, I would think it'd be easier to correct not blowing a lead rather than having to come from a 2-goal lead each night. So we'll see what happens here. But the Leafs are playing extraordinarily well in this second period. Centering pass, backhanded to the net, then by Camp, is knocked away by Vladar. Leafs are able to keep it in. Camp sends it down into the corner, but it is Tanev able to get it out now for the Flames. They'll get to the Leaf blue line, but offside is called. One of the wingers coming in on the left wing, and Kadri, a little bit of a disbeliever. So it must have been him. The Leafs 4 and the Calgary Flames 2. They traveled to Vancouver where they will play on Saturday night, a 7 o'clock start. And we will have all of that action for you. Hope you will join Mr. Ralph and myself for the Leafs in Vancouver. Third of 4 games to be played on this road trip. Centering pass by the Flames, knocked back of the net by Sharangovich. And off the boards for the Maple Leafs. Played to the line, but not out. Kept alive. Here's Sharangovich with a pass in front that didn't connect. Huberdeau on the far wing gets it back to the blue line. Now on the near side, a pass off a skate is going to be corralled by Marner, who takes a glance up ice. Trying to get away there was Holmberg, who was grabbed onto. Looked like he was in a vice lock there with a headlock, but no call. Lindholm works back in over the line for the Flames. A shot, and that went off the crossbar and up into the screen, out of play. Great opportunity for Mackenzie Weegar.
Boy, as big as the Matthews goal was late in the first period, it would be huge for Calgary to get back to within 1. And here with 2:37 to go, does Jones get a piece of it with the left shoulder?
Yep. Yes, he did. Left shoulder and over.
Maybe both. Martin Jones, the Leafs get caught giving up an opportunity off the rush, but Martin Jones, that might be his best save of the night.
2:37 left in the second period. The draw won by the Maple Leafs. And a pass for Bertuzzi. He works to the red line. Got a weak backhand, but got it into the zone. But Tanev has time and space and gets it out ahead, and Backlund comes through neutral ice and into the Leaf zone. Backlund going wide with the nifty move, sends it in front of the goal. Good collision in front of the net to deny a chance in front of the net there by Liljegren. Pass in front again, a shot right on, Jones down, rebound, scores! No, waved off. Waved off by the official, Graham Skilleter.
And I'm not sure why it's being waved off. They will obviously look at it, but Martin Jones never had this puck. If they think that was the reason, Joe, if the official blew the whistle, but I think this is going to count. The officials now are meeting right in front of the penalty box, and I think this might be overturned. Martin Jones, are they going to say it was kicked in?
Call on the ice is no goal for a kicked puck.
Yeah.
Was it over
off
the line?
Leaf player, off the Leaf stick, but it was kicked to the net.
And does Backlund touch it before it goes over the goal line? I mean, I agree that it was a kicking motion. I don't know. I believe it was Mark Giordano that had the first whack at him. Mangiapane does kick it with his left skate. But Simon Benoit, it was Liljegren that reached for it to sweep it off the blue line. Did he get it and then it was knocked in by Backlund, or was it already over the goal line? That's what, if it counts, it's going to be Michael Backlund's goal. We're looking. Is it over? Is it over?
Yes,
I think it is over.
I think it's over. It's over by just a hair's length.
And it was a kicking motion with the left skate of Mangiapane, but then it went off his right skate and towards the net. We're looking. No, if they're going to maintain that it was kicked in, then it's no goal.
Yeah, because Backlund doesn't get there. So
now,
they are reviewing this.
And I don't think the rule will change because it hit his other foot after the kicking motion. That's what propelled it towards the net, was the kick. Although the longer this goes, the more you start to worry from a Leafs standpoint. 2:07 to go in the second period. The Leafs with a 4-2 lead for now.
And here's the announcement.
After video review, the puck deflects off the Toronto player's stick. This is a good goal.
That doesn't make sense to me. It was kicked to the net. It did go off Liljegren's stick. But
doesn't negate the kicking motion. I mean, we've seen it where it's been kicked and gone off a goaltender and in, and it doesn't count. unless they're saying that the puck wouldn't have gone in had it not. I mean, I don't understand it. But the Flames, like the Leafs did in the first period, scored late to get to within one.
So Andrew Mangiapane is going to get a bit of a strange goal, to say the least. But it is a 4-3 game. And it's back out into the center ice area where it's shot into the Flames' end. Minute 44 to go in the third period. Brought in by Marner. Curls in the near corner. Sends it across the goal crease, but Yarncrook couldn't get a stick on it, and it's deflected up into the screen and out of play.
And you will know that the Calgary Flames are well aware of the Leafs' struggles in holding leads. In fact, Calgary's last game 2 nights ago against Arizona, they were down 1-0 after the second period, 2-0 early in the third, before coming back to tie it. Yeah, you know what I think the call is, Joe? Timothy Liljegren, this puck is actually would not have gone in. And Timothy Liljegren, they're going to say, is the reason that it was redirected, and I think that's why they got the call for a good goal.
9th of the season for Mangiapane. And Backlund and Hanifin will draw the assists on the goal. And the 2-goal lead is down to 1. Anderson sends it down into the corner. Marner and Brody get it freed up back of the net. Brody with it once more. Snaps it around the boards, but Anderson is pinched to keep it in, but he misses it. And now here's a break for Yarncrook in over the line. Off on the wing for Riley. Riley tries to center, but it was blocked. Yarncrook curls back of the net, gets it back to the point. Left wing side, out of the reach of Marner, or Riley, and it's deflected into the corner. And the Flames will wait for teammates to change with 41 seconds left to go in the period. Toronto 4, Calgary 3. Weegar gets it up on the wing and gets it down into the zone along with Kadri. Puck comes free, and it's knocked out into the center ice area. Stumbling there was Tanev, but he's back on his skates and has the puck with 20 seconds left now onto the far side for Noah Hanifin. Hanifin sends it down into the zone. Kadri gets it a little bit deeper. Cleared by Tavares along the wall. Tavares has to go to a loose puck but can't get it out on the boards. 5 seconds left as it's back of the net. Pinned up against the boards there by McCabe, and time will run out.
I think what the Leafs really have to do, Joe, in the third period, go in with the mentality you've got to win the period. Don't sit back and say, hey, as long as we play even, we get the win. I think that's where they've run into some problems. I think they've got to go out and say, let's force the play. Let's get the next one. That doesn't mean you have the defenseman pinch or you start to take any kind of gambles the other way. But I think you've got to have that mentality that, boys, we got to make it 5.
Well, Austin Matthews has made it 4. 3 goals and an assist. And the Maple Leafs had a 4-2 lead. Late goal from Mangiapane. 4-3 after 40 minutes of play. Ailish Forfar and Justin Cuthbert coming along with our second period intermission. You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on Sportsnet 590, The Fan and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
Jackson drops to throw. Fire down the middle. It is caught. Touchdown, Ravens!
Sirius XM NFL Radio is getting you ready for the divisional round of the NFL playoffs.
Brock Purdy, this guy routinely makes ridiculous plays in the passing game. Look routine. He does it week in and week out.
Get closer to the game with interviews with coaches, players, and executives. Hear exclusive coverage of the divisional round on Sirius XM NFL Radio Channel 88, in the car, and on the all-new Sirius XM app.
The Power Play with Steve Kouleas.
And we're with John Cooper, head coach of the Lightning.
Can you kind of talk about your relationship?
What's up, Leafs fans? Another awesome night here on TSI. Thank you to each and every one of you for hanging out with us. Please don't forget to hit that like button, as it helps bring more Leafs fans into the chat. The more the better. A big shout out to our insiders and VIP members. Your support is truly appreciated. I cannot explain to you what it means for this community. Please consider joining our community. It's only 99 cents a month. I made it as low as possible so that we can get more and more people joining our community. Awesome member exclusive emojis in the chat during these Leafs games, and add your name to the scroll down below. Anyways, enough of the necessary evils to keep growing this amazing Toronto sports community and Maple Leafs community. Back to Leafs hockey. Go Leafs go. I'll see you guys in the chat. Peace.
NHL All-Star Weekend returns to Toronto, and SiriusXM NHL Network Radio brings you all the action.
Pass and a quick shot. Scores! Matthews!
Ross for Crosby for the HP. He's good! Hear conversations with all-star players and coaches. All-Star Media Day, player draft, skills competition, and play-by-play of the 2024 All-Star Game. 2024 NHL All-Star Weekend live. Beginning February 1st on NHL Network Radio, Channel 91 in the car, and on the all-new SiriusXM app.
NHL Morning Skate.
Chris Knobloch, head coach of the Edmonton Oilers. No coaching experience in Paul Coffey. What's that been like as far as a rather unique fit as an assistant?
If you look at all the things that have improved with our team, and maybe even the most is how well our defense has been playing. Paul's done a great job of communicating with them and getting a message on just playing assertively.
NHL Morning Skate with Scott Laughlin and Gord Stellick. Weekdays 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, SiriusXM 91, and the SiriusXM app. Under review.
The National Hockey League, it's the number one league in the world. It's a tough league. It's not shinny. I never wanted to become a league where the stars get an extra step or two. And there is a real divide with some people who go, the NHL doesn't do enough for its stars. No. What we like about hockey is it's a team game.
Under review with Mick Kerr, 11 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, SiriusXM 91, and the SiriusXM app.
Hey Toronto, I'm David Morsuti, host of the daily Toronto Maple Leafs podcast, Locked On Leafs, part of the Locked On Podcast Network on the SiriusXM app. Every weekday, we bring you the latest Leafs news and analysis, break down all the action, including this game you're listening to right now, and preview the next one. We're giving you everything a Leafs fan could want, all in a daily 30-minute podcast. Download Locked On Leafs right now on the SiriusXM app, available with all trials and popular plans, or where you get your podcasts. Search Locked On Leafs.
The biggest names in the game.
Trying to get behind, wrist the line, and walks in, put it between his legs, shoots it, score!
NHL play-by-play on SiriusXM, the Leafs Radio Network.
Quickly played up on the wing, broken up at the Leaf defense. Now Nyes in across the line with Matthews. Took a shot. Oh, and that was off the stick. A backhand by Matthews. Scores! Holy Mackinac, the big fella's got three, and the Leafs have a 2-goal lead.
Matthew Nyes will pick up the assist. His shot coming over the blue line was gloved by Vladar, but Joe, he bats it right onto the stick of Austin Matthews, and Matthews, who looked like he was tied up, was able to get it on the backhand and fire it blocker side.
Welcome back to Molson Leafs Hockey on Sportsnet 590, The Fan, and the Maple Leafs Radio Network. Well, that was a fun one. Hattie Maddie, you got the Maple Leafs grabbing the lead again, and they'll be going into the third period up 4-3 against the Calgary Flames. We were writing a little bit of a different script after the first intermission, and things are looking a little bit more interesting. How about that?
Yeah, we were. And I think we were readying ourselves for another similar type of dialogue, to be honest. Like, it just didn't feel like that sort of response was coming. And maybe it wasn't an all-encompassing response. Maybe it wasn't like a total 4-line, 3-pairing.
All you need is Austin Matthews on your team.
Yeah, one goaltender effort in terms of brilliance. But Austin Matthews has turned this game around clearly. But it was a better period. I mean, 17 shots in the period for the Maple Leafs. They definitely, followed Austin Matthews into the foxhole. But yeah, that period was all about Austin Matthews. 2 more brilliant goals, and Mitch Marner scoring on a power play as well. It was a good period for the top guys for the Maple Leafs.
Yeah, the goal scoring is never ugly with Austin Matthews. Like, both of these goals in this period, at least, were beautiful. The one pass over to Mitch Marner on the power play was amazing. He just continues to do it all. Like, he's almost inevitable, right? And the lack of emotion that he's been showing when he scores these goals, he gets a hat trick, hats littering the ice in Calgary, which is pretty funny.
Always good.
He's just very business right now, right? Not to pit these two against each other, but Mitch Marner's goal, like, absolute elation. He celebrated like he won the cup, but like, Matthews gets a hat trick, barely cracks a smile, just goes through the line and is very stoic. And I think it's just, that's business as usual for him, right? He expects that out of himself. He gets a hat trick within 2 periods. It's his 11th of his career. It's his 12th multi-goal game this season.
It's clockwork for him, right? And he needs to do it, or this team loses. Like it's just it's what's expected and what's needed from him.
Yeah, the first goal is probably a goal only a handful of NHL players can score. The second one, again, probably a one-time shot that only a handful could muster in this league. But I kind of like the third one more than any other ones. Just winning, just like shrugging off a defender, pushing him aside where he can get in position and put a backhand in on the rebound from Matthew Nyes, showing that he can score in a variety of different ways and using his physicality for the third and then being all business afterwards. Yeah, I definitely appreciated that one.
So this is where it's going to get interesting, though. And I know we said this after the first period, but Maple Leafs find their way back into it thanks to Austin Matthews and Mitch Marner. But guess what? They've blown a lead in the last 4 games in those 4 losses. And guess what? The Flames just came off their 8th third period comeback victory.
Oh.
So both teams looking to, hold on to something here for the Maple Leafs, not blow a lead. And the Flames traditionally have been able to do that as of late to come back in a third period. So, oh boy.
Well, the Flames are given a bit of a head start in that pursuit of another comeback with that third goal. Looked like it was kicked in, was initially called back. But I guess a pretty important touch from Timothy Liljegren handling the puck before or as it was on his way in. Like, it's always confusing when a goal or a disallowed goal is kicked in the net. It's always like these very fine rulings, these very thin margins. But I guess if you're a defender and you guide it in yourself, even when it's been kicked toward the net, it's going to be reversed and called a goal. So kind of an unlucky break there at the end of the period for the Maple Leafs, who definitely dominated that period, had the better of it. But now it's just a 1-goal margin. And you're right. Trends would suggest that, hey, this one's not in the bank yet because Calgary has made a habit of coming back in the third periods. And, of course, we are talking about 4 consecutive blown leads for the Maple Leafs here coming into this game.
What do you think of the opposing arena chanting MVP at Austin Matthews when he scored his hat trick? How much does that infuriate the Calgary Flames?
It probably would, but it probably infuriate the players more. Like, wouldn't you be aggrieved by that?
God.
If someone came into your barn and the fans, even if they're not your fans, were chanting for the opposition. I mean, it's a chant-worthy performance so far from Matthews, but I'm sure that got the attention of Nazem Kadri and the Flames.
Yeah, they'll be coming out with a little bit of fire. I don't doubt it. We'll take a quick break. On the other side, we'll do the scoreboard and get you ready for the third period. You're listening to Molson Leafs Hockey on Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
NHL All-Star Thursday is coming to Toronto with 3 exciting events in one star-filled night. First, celebrity captains select their teams in the Tim Hortons NHL All-Star Player Draft. Then, the 1967 Stanley Cup champion Maple Leafs are honored in the NHL Alumni Man of the Year. And finally, the best in women's hockey compete in the Canadian Tire PWHL 3-on-3 Showcase. It's NHL All-Star Thursday on February 1st. Buy tickets now starting at $44 at NHL.com/Thursday.
Every year, fans debate over the draft. Who's going first? At Chuck's, they already know. The top draft choice is that icy cold 18-ounce Molson Canadian you're holding, and it's just $4 at Chuck's during Leafs games. No wonder that at draft time, Canadians are always in high demand. Chuck's Roadhouse Bar and Grill. Food the way it ought to be. Price the way it used to be.
Truck.ca. So when you gotta move, all moving day. Think 2-minute truck.ca. Cause all of us movers are not the same. So that's our company name, 2-minute-truck.ca. We're lots of men with lots of trucks, so give us a call today.
There are many peculiar words in the English language. Words like salivigant, peregrinate, nemophilus, peripatetic, and conviviality. Yet, there is no word for getting the most out of winter in your Subaru, thanks to symmetrical full-time all-wheel drive and X-Mode. Until now. We call it unhibernate. As in, while your neighbors stay home, you'll be unhibernating all winter in your Subaru. So peregrinate to your local Subaru dealer today, and welcome to uncommon winter confidence.
In Toronto's war on crime, The worst offenders are pursued by the detectives of the Specialized Criminal Investigations Unit. These are their stories. Law & Order Toronto Criminal Intent premieres February 22nd on City TV.
City TV has all new episodes of Chicago Med, Fire, and PD.
Listen up, mass casualties en route.
How do I fix it? You go back to work. Chicago Wednesday on City TV or stream it on City TV Plus.
Move up to Heathwood. Hi, I'm Hugh Heron. Experience true luxury at Williamsburg Green in Kitchener. Heathwood's all-brick single-family homes come with a long list of features you've always dreamed of. Gourmet kitchens, freestanding tubs, and even fully finished lower levels. Dare to compare and you'll see why it's time to move up to Heathwood. Learn more at heathwood.com.
You're listening to Toronto Maple Leafs hockey.
Nice has tied the game, but a brilliant play by Max Domi.
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Leafs Radio Network.
Welcome back to Molson Leafs Hockey on Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Maple Leafs Radio Network. Maple Leafs with a 4-3 lead going into the third period thanks to a Matty Hattie. Austin Matthews with 3 goals in the first 2 periods of the game, just like nothing.
We're making a habit of talking about Matty Hatties, right? There's been a lot this year. 11 in his career. Mm-hmm. What, he's got a handful this year already?
He's got 4 already this year.
They come in bunches this year for Austin Matthews. There was a time where he was always stuck on 2 goals. It was 2-goal game, 2-goal game, 2-goal game. Always searching for that hat trick. Now they're coming in bunches. But give a little credit to Pontus Holmberg, too. I don't know if we talked about him.
Love Pontus
7 points in his last 7 games. He's kind of digging pucks out for that top line. He's doing the job that, missing was Zach Hyman and others haven't been able to provide. Matthew Nyes of late, maybe not giving them what they need. But yeah, Pontus Holmberg, another good start for him.
Matthews owes a lot of people $50 hats that are being thrown on the ice. This NHL scoreboard is presented by Bet365. Visit the app for the latest odds and find out why it's never ordinary at Bet365. Must be 19 plus, Ontario only. Play responsibly.
Okay, quickly, let's get through the final. 6-2, the Senators beat the Canadiens. 5-2, the Bruins beat the Avalanche. The Wild dropped a 7-3 decision to the Lightning. 5-1, the Flyers, beat the Stars. 3-0, The Sabres beat the Blackhawks. And 5-2 Capitals over the Blues. Currently ongoing, the Oilers have stormed back. They have a 3-2 lead over the Kraken. The Golden Knights up 2-0 on the Rangers. End of 1. It's 1-1 Coyotes and Canucks. And end of 1, 0-0 right now between the Predators and Kings. Of course, the Maple Leafs up 4-3 on the Flames.
Yep, this is Austin Matthews' 4th hat trick of the season. Maple Leafs on a 4-game losing streak. Flames on a 4-game winning streak. Does this one go to 4 periods?
Do we watch another lead evaporate?
We might. They love overtime in this world. I'm just trying to anti-jinx it, like reverse jinx,
Talk about it. Just
somebody will win in regulation.
Openly discuss.
It's already 11 o'clock, a late night start for us. So we're going to make it work. All right, well,
it's getting late.
You got 20 minutes left for the Maple Leafs. And if they lose this one, I don't know, they've given a better effort, but we might still be having those conversations we had
It's a pretty
pre-game.
important period, I think, for the Toronto Maple Leafs.
I think they should try to win this one.
Pretty disastrous. So let's see if they can hold on.
Okay, Joe Bowen and Jim Ralph will have the call of the third period next. You're listening to Molson Leafs Hockey on Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
Here's what's happening on Sirius XM Sports.
Just 2 days from NFL divisional playoff games, Sirius XM NFL Radio with a comprehensive look at the 4 games this Saturday and Sunday, plus ongoing coverage of the head coach carousel, including Bill Belichick and Jim Harbaugh. NFL Radio, Sirius XM Channel 88, and the Sirius XM app.
Sirius XM Sports, wherever you are, your team plays here.
The Power Play with Steve Koulias.
And we're with John Cooper, head coach of the Lightning.
Can you kind of talk about your relationship with your captain?
Whether I say it's a friendship or whatever we have, our bond is it's really come and really evolved over the years. He's one of the greatest, he's our greatest ambassador, but I think he's one of the greatest ambassadors for the sport. The kid's a class act, and it's been really a pleasure to watch.
The Power Play, weekdays 3 p.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91 and the Sirius XM app. The Point with Boomer Gordon.
You think, can you pay the guy? I think what we've learned the last 4 years is that you can't. Tampa, Colorado, Vegas. They were all built on elite superstar talent. But what they also had was great management. And that's the one thing the Leafs haven't done. They've never done. Dubas never did it. I think we could all argue Treliving's not off to a great start trying to do it this year. It becomes a huge challenge.
Points with Boomer Gordon. 1 p.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app.
If you're a soccer fan, you know that this music means one thing. The Champions League is on Sirius XM FC.
Hat-trick for Erling Haaland. Kane scores!
The top teams from around Europe are battling for club soccer's holy grail.
Real Madrid do what they do best. What a start for Inter!
Hear all the top Champions League matches all tournament long on Sirius XM FC 157 and streaming on the Sirius XM app.
The best hockey lives here.
Martins gets it back. Stick handles to the backhand. Moves in front. Score!
NHL play-by-play on Sirius XM Radio Network.
The Maple Leafs carry a lead to the third period. This is a recording. What needs to change is the outcome of what has transpired over the last 4 games when the Leafs have seen leads evaporate in the fourth or in the third period in 4 straight games. So Austin Matthews, his 4th hat trick this year, number 11 on the season, or on his career. His tied a career high with points in a game with 4. That's 14 times he's done that, including the first game out of the chute back in Ottawa, which seems like so long ago.
Yeah, but what's interesting is his 4-goal game was October 12th, 2016. He didn't record his first hat trick, his first 3-goal game, until January of 2020.
Played down into the Toronto zone as they defend the goal to the left. 4-3 the score, and an errant pass is sliding all the way down into Flames territory. Hanifin goes back for it, plays it around the boards. Leafs arrive on the scene, and Yarncrook is able to play it back behind the net. They'll try the other side, kept in at the blue line with a long shot that is gloved by Vladar, and a face-off coming in the Flames' end.
25-21, the shot advantage now for the Toronto Maple Leafs, and up until late in the opening period, Leafs were being outshot, 11-4. Before Austin Matthews got them on the board and cut into the 2-0 Calgary lead. Now it's the Flames chasing the Leafs. As we mentioned, Calgary's last win against Arizona 2 nights ago, down 2-0.
Over the first 39 games, when the Leafs led in the third period, they were 16-0-2. They're 0-3 in their last 3 games. Played along the boards. Nylander getting it in a little bit deeper, fed by Uyghur around on the far side. Leafs pinch to keep it in. Chance in front of the net, looking for Nylander, and the pass by Bertuzzi was blocked. Down the boards comes Tavares. Back to the point, just off the bench is McCabe. Now to Benoit. Pass in off a leg is going to carry him out at center ice, forcing McCabe back to his own zone. Both teams are trying to complete a change. McCabe decides to circle back in his own zone. Benoit trying to give him an outlet, and he will send it up on the wing, and Benoit just tips it ahead, and the Leafs get it across the line with Nyes. Back at the net and into the corner now. Time to center it was Domi. Domi banks it back to the point. Near side it'll come to Giordano. Giordano with a shot deflected in front of the net there by Yarncrook, and it went just wide. Yarncrook trying to keep it in. Just did at the blue line with a shot that was easily steered aside by Vladar, and the Flames have it in their own zone. Out at center for Ruzicka and across the line. Drop for Kadri. Easy shot, rolls in on goal, easily scooped up there by Martin Jones. He will stop play exactly 2 minutes into the third period, and a face-off coming in the circle to his right.
Calgary Flames have trailed a number of times into the third period. They're 7-14-2, so some pretty good numbers to come back and win 7 of those. Get points in 9 out of the 23 times they've trailed so far. Like we said, the one consistent, or one of the many consistents in the Leafs' 4-game losing streak is no third period goals. That may have to change.
Brody getting it up on the wing. And it's launched high into the Flame zone, and this is going to turn into an icing, and it'll come all the way back into the Toronto end.
Third and fourth lines have been solid tonight. Good offensive zone time and on the forecheck, but have yet to be rewarded. And again, when you start looking at who's been chipping in and who hasn't, it's pretty much been Austin Matthews can't beat the opponents in the last 4 games.
Played along the boards to the far side. Flames cut it off, get it back into the slot here. Mangiapane in front of the net. That was knocked away by Jones back of the goal, and now Riley trying to one-hand it up the boards, but having difficulties with it. The puck comes back. Mangiapane gets it back to Weegar. Weegar will return the favor, and a pass over on the far side, bounces to the line, and comes out at center ice. Weegar will stretch things out, allowing the Flames to get a change. Leafs are doing likewise. Brought on at center ice and shot into the Toronto end, but it caroms and goes out of play off the dasher board. So it'll come back out into the center ice area.
I know we've seen that push by the Flames early in the third period. The 2 goals that they scored against Arizona were similar plays, cross crease passes. Nazem Kadri scored the tying goal before Sharon Govich won it in overtime for Calgary. They said they've got a lot of guys that are having some great years, especially Blake Coleman.
Played back to the point. Long shot off a leg, goes wide. Battle for the puck on the far boards. Marner is able to punch it out at center. But the Flames have it under control at their own blue line. Left wing feed for Connor Zary. Zary gets it across the line into the right wing boards area. Stolen back by Toronto. Punched ahead for Marner. Marner with a glance on one side decides to lay it into the left wing corner for Pontus Holmberg, but Holmberg couldn't get there in time, and Tanev is able to carry it out into the center ice area. Zary across the line with a backhand try then from Ruzicka, goes wide of the net. Matthews against the boards. Liljegren didn't see it. Now a lead pass at center. Marner has a breakaway and in! And a glove save and a dandy made by Vladar.
Boy, the Flames defense gets sleeping as the Leafs were able to get the puck back in their own zone after Timothy Liljegren kind of skated around it, skated over it. And then Mitch Marner was found as it was Pontus Holmberg that picked the puck up.
That might have been pretty close to offside, Mr. Ralph. He was backing up and took the pass right at the blue line, and I'm pretty sure they would have taken a look at that, but to no avail. Vladar makes a huge save here in the third period to keep the goal differential at 1. Bertuzzi against the boards, fighting for possession. Got it back into the corner, centering pass, knocked away there from Lindholm. Another shot goes high and wide, and the puck comes to the near wing where it's kept in. Down the boards goes Huberdeau. Huberdeau tries to center. Back to the point it comes. Weegar on the right side. Back into the slot area for Huberdeau. Huberdeau trying to get away from Bertuzzi. Sends it into the slot area. Back into the corner for Huberdeau. Huberdeau had it knocked away by Brody. Brody trying to get it out, but won't get any assistance there from Morgan Riley, who couldn't catch up to the puck. Sharon Govich, good cycling job done here by Calgary, and good pressure. Far side for Anderson. Back it goes to Weegar. Weegar with a shot in traffic. It's steered wide by Jones. Kept alive by the Flames, though. Tired group for the Maple Leafs. Into the slot area, Lindholm. Back for Huberdeau. To Weegar. Far corner once more for Anderson. Into the slot, Huberdeau doesn't shoot it. Dropping it back. Still alive. Flames hollering for the fans, at least, for a shot. Leafs are dog-tired in the defensive zone, and they're going to get it out as it's knocked up on the left wing side, and Yarncrook, who's off the bench, races after it. Gets it down into the zone. Works it around back of the net. Pulls up into the corner. Rest of the Leafs have changed as McCabe is able to play it in a little deeper. Long lead pass knocked down in the center ice area by Toronto. Fed right back in for Domi. He's in a goal! On a brilliant pad save made by Vladar. He's made 2 dandies here to keep it a 1-goal game. Played around back of the Toronto goal. Domi Trying to get it up on the wing for Yarncrook and has. Yarncrook back for Max. Max with a bank pass looking for Nyes. He got stood up at the blue line. Fed back in now for Mangiapane. Mangiapane dropping it off. At the point, it swept around back of the Toronto goal, but unable to track it down was Michael Backlund, and the Leafs get it out at center. Rink-wide pass. Liljegren in. Doesn't shoot it. Pulls up in the corner. Now tries to cycle it back behind the net. David Camp arrived on the scene, but couldn't come up with the loose puck. Now McMahon was able to slow it up, but out come the Flames now in left wing side with Kadri. Kadri over on the right wing. A pass back in, blocked in front of the net there by the Leafs. Good play by Giordano. Giordano chased after Kadri. Has it back in along the boards. Launched high to the line, but not out. Flames back in business again. At the near point now for Hanifin. A shot. Blocked there by Toronto. Slashed at by Gregor. The Leafs are going to get a chance to clear. And it is Giordano regrouping the puck as the Leafs are changing. So are the Flames. Long lead pass for Marner again. His shot was 10 feet wide of the goal. And the rebound off the end boards has come to center. Brody for Marner. Marner on a breakaway and a great chance for Domi. But Dan Vladar has come up big here in the third period. Now Matthews looking for another, and that was deflected in front of the goal. Marner in the corner, looks for Matthews, but goes back to the point. Now to Matthews from Riley. Down into the corner now for Brody. He works back towards the blue line. Cycles it down behind the net. Now Marner trying to free it up. It goes to Riley, back of the goal. Marner couldn't come up with it. And Rasmus Andersson will try to play it out at center. Almost turned over, but the Flames get it in across the line. Lindholm on the far side, and a one-timer by Huberdeau was fanned on completely. Leafs are able to get it freed up. Matthews gets it ahead. Marner needs to get a change of players organized, and he's going to send it into the left wing corner and peel to the bench. Tanev, a pass up on the wing goes to Blake Coleman. He couldn't get out. Played ahead at center and across the line for Backlund. Backlund dropping it back. Mangiapane couldn't make a play, and the Leafs are able to get it out at center ice. Christopher Tanev playing it right back. Flames regroup. Hanifin in on the left wing. Got around McCabe, but the puck off his stick. Leafs able to play it up on the boards. McCabe couldn't do much with it. Benoit got it further up the wall for Bertuzzi, but the Leafs failed to get it out. Up on the right wing side now, trying to break in is Zeri. Rolled it to the goal line, and they score! Tenth goal of the season for Zeri on a scrambly play that goaltender Jones lost the puck, and Zeri is able to tap it home to tie the game, and so again the Leafs blow a 2-goal lead.
Starts with Tyler Bertuzzi, Joe. 2 attempts to try to get it out on the right wing side. Keeps trying to force it up the boards. It's kept in. And this one for Martin Jones, similar to the Draisaitl goal that launched the Edmonton comeback or started the Edmonton comeback 2 nights ago, he just loses it. Sharp angle shot that Martin Jones can't track. It goes off the inside of his blocker and then rolls across the goal line to the other side, and Zari just has to tap it into the empty net. So what we've seen now, Sheldon Keefe, I don't know if there's a challenge for this on an offside or if... Wait, well, he's called a timeout. But I don't think this is, unless it's to give him
a 30-second timeout.
Unless this is to maybe look at some video, Joe. I don't think it's a challenge.
Not yet, but
from
and at this point, it doesn't seem that he's...
No, they're not looking at anything, although Dean Janouth is talking to people upstairs, whether that's Jordan Bean or some of the video guys.
But there's not
we haven't seen a
demonstrative situation for the coach to be, having a word with the players.
Yeah.
This is definitely called a timeout to give the video guys a better look. And now,
well, everything's fine so far from what we've seen. It would have to be maybe the initial entry.
Toronto has requested a coach's challenge for a missed hand pass game stoppage.
Okay.
And it wasn't anywhere close. I think it's when it was kept in, Joe, when Bertuzzi tried to get it out.
Had to be, yes.
Waiting for another angle of it.
It's certainly not anywhere near the net.
And it's Bertuzzi, threw it up. Well, it goes.
Oh.
I mean, it goes off the glove.
The glove and then to the defenseman.
Yeah, Blake Coleman had it go off his glove. Now, do they consider that a hand pass? See it again? Yeah, he does.
Yeah, he certainly made motion to get his hand to try and keep the puck in. So this Jordan Bean may just save the Leafs a goal here again.
We had a goal called off by Calgary in the second period. They reviewed it and then allowed it. But we'll see. Bertuzzi, I mean, he fans on the flip to get it out.
And you can see the puck changing direction after it strikes Coleman's stick.
Yeah, Coleman knocks it down with his left hand. And it goes back to Osterley at the point.
Puck, and the Leafs don't. I think this is going to be waved off. And if it is, it's another bit of brilliance from the Leafs video crew.
Yeah, you can see it change its direction, and it's not John Tavares. Tavares was the closest Leaf to Coleman when it was knocked down. And
they're still looking at it, though.
We said it was bad news because it took so long in the second period. I mean, like I said, but you can't. Use your hand to knock.
If it's ruled that it's okay, the Leafs are a man short here, having just given up the tying goal. So this is
this is huge.
Yeah. And Tavares doesn't touch the puck, it appears, to negate the hand pass.
But you start to get concerned because you know it went off his glove. So what are they discussing? I don't know how many different angles you've got to see on it. The disappointing part, though, Joe, is Dan Vladar makes two great stops at one end. And even if this is waved off, I don't know if you have a lot of confidence in Martin Jones right now. Because that's just a routine stop. This isn't a game saver.
Where are we? Yep.
Reset the clock. That's what they'll tell him, right?
After coach's challenge for a missed game stoppage, it was determined that number 20 on Calgary hand passed the puck. Therefore, there is no goal.
The key is when you see the official talk to the timekeepers and you know the conversation is reset the time to this amount. And for Sheldon Keefe, it was a gamble.
Huge
with
gamble.
11:21 to go.
But a brilliant play. We're going to use our timeout here. We're obviously hearing.
Yeah, we got to make sure.
This is here.
Yep.
This is close. I think we've got it. So instead of so that was the best part. And hats off to Jordan Bean and company for coming up with that video review that keeps the score at 4-3.
The Leafs are 2-1 now on the trip on challenges. Calgary goal was upheld here, but Zach Hyman had a goal disallowed in Edmonton. Although the Oilers would come back and score anyway a few minutes later.
Played down into the Toronto zone. Chipped along the boards to the far wing. Doesn't get out. Flames with it again. Kadri getting it back to the point. Hanifin sends it on the boards and bounces it to the side of the goal. Knocked down there was Zeri. Puck around back of the net. Morgan Riley is there. And he's going to snap it ahead. And the Maple Leafs have some room to chip it ahead for Matthews, who gets it the rest of the way into the zone. Flames back in their own territory. Breaking it out at center. Sharon Govich got it across the line. Looked for a return pass that didn't happen. And it's cleared on the backhand down into Calgary territory by Nylander. The Leafs can't sit back, though. There's 10:36 to go in the third, and it's a one-goal lead as a rolling puck in on Jones is smothered by the Leaf netminder to take us to a commercial break. The Leafs have dodged a big-time bullet on a tying goal that is called back by video review. It's 4-3. You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
Let's go, football fans.
This week on Let's Go with Tom Brady and Larry Fitzgerald and me, Jim Gray.
We're all better players for having Coach Belichick as our coach. I think there was a level of accountability and discipline that he had that maybe we didn't always want to hear it, but in the end, when we reflect back, we're happy that we did hear it and that we went through it.
Listen now to the extended version of Let's Go, exclusively on the SiriusXM app, included with all our trials and popular plans.
Let's go, baby.
Let's go. The Power Play with Steve Koulias.
I'm with John Cooper, head coach of the Lightning.
Can you kind of talk about your relationship with your captain?
You know, whether I say it's a friendship or whatever we have, our bond is it's really come and really evolved over the years. He's one of the greatest, he's our greatest ambassador, but I think he's one of the greatest ambassadors for the sport. You know, the kid's a class act, and it's been really a pleasure to watch.
The Power Play, weekdays 3 p.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, SiriusXM 91 and the SiriusXM app. The Point with Boomer Gordon.
You think, can you pay the guy? I think what we've learned the last 4 years is that you can. Tampa, Colorado, Vegas. They were all built on elite superstar talent. But what they also had was great management. And that's the one thing the Leafs haven't done. They've never done. Dubas never did it. I think we could all argue Treliving's not off to a great start trying to do it this year. Becomes a huge challenge.
Points with Boomer Gordon. 1 p.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, SiriusXM 91 and the SiriusXM app. Hockey lives here.
Suzuki sweeps it. There's a chance. Rebound, Caulfield shoots and scores.
NHL play-by-play on SiriusXM.
Jordan Beam and Sam Kim, the two video coaches for the Maple Leafs, are going to get...
I think we've got a pretty good streak going, haven't they?
I think it's like about 12 or 13 now. A centering pass broken up by the Maple Leafs, launched high to center ice by Marner, and the Flames go back to their own blue line. Half the third period still to be played, and it's a one-goal game after the Leafs' 2-goal lead evaporated similarly, but was restored by video review. It's a one-goal game. Puck bounces off a stick to center, and Benoit couldn't come up with it. Shot back down into the Toronto end. Benoit down the boards, chips it along from Matthews, off a skate to center ice that Marner couldn't knock down. Flames trying to send it right back in, but it goes over the glass and out of play, and a face-off will come in the center ice area as a result.
That's great if the Leafs get a chance off the rush, but what you'd really like to see is dump the puck in, go after it, get some offensive zone time, try to frustrate the Flames in the forecheck. What we've already seen here in the third period is Calgary has really gone all in on their D. That's why the Leafs have been able to catch them a couple of times on partial breakaways. They're very aggressive on the pinch here in the third.
Played down into the Flame zone. To the point, kept in by Brody. Finds Riley. Shot coming. That deflects wide. Back for Brody at the near point. He gets it on his forehand to send it down into the corner. The Flames have it there, and they're able to punch it out at center ice now, courtesy Mackenzie Weegar. Now Weegar brought it back and stolen by Tavares. Centering pass in front. Oh, and a chance there by Bertuzzi. And I think that Vladar may have got a piece of that. He has certainly given his team a chance to come back. 3 brilliant saves here in this period. Brought in over the line by Domi. Sent around back of the net to the far corner. Flames with a long lead pass. Get it up on the left wing. Mangiapane gets into the zone. Pulls up. Drops it off. Left wing side. Osterley with a shot that's broken up, and the Leafs look to outlet and play it out at center ice and do. Toronto changing, as are the Flames. Kadri sends a long bounce. Whoa! There's going to be a penalty here. Liljegren, a flip in. He gloves it, but then he turned into the Harlem Globetrotters as he tried to flip it around behind his back, and that's going to bring a penalty for closing his hand on the puck.
2-minute minor for closing his hand on the
and
puck.
Here we go again, where you say, there's the moment. Whether it's a broken stick, video review, or grabbing the puck and trying to take 4 seconds to decide where you want to do with it when you drop it. This is a huge kill coming up for the Leafs.
Third power play for Calgary coming up. You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
From the biggest stadiums to the coziest holes in the wall. From house parties to porch hangs. to pride celebrations. From your favorite fuss shop to your local Indian spot. From noodle bars to sports bars to salsa bars. There's a Molson with your name on it. Canadian Ultra XL. Molson. Everyone in. Must be legal drinking age.
At Bet365, we don't do ordinary. That's why we've introduced Same Game Parlay Plus. It's a game changer. Making a same game parlay across different games has never been easier because the biggest games and most popular markets are now all in one place. Check out Same Game Parlay Plus and find out why it's never ordinary at Bet365. Must be 19 or older. Ontario only. Please play responsibly. If you or someone you know has concerns about gambling, visit connectsontario.ca.
Move up to Heathwood. Hi, I'm Hugh Heron. Experience a new level of luxury at Williamsburg Green. Your new single-family home will have all the modern features you dream about, even a fully finished lower level. Kitchener's newest master plan community with bike trails, parks, and a new library. Williamsburg Green has it all. It's time to move up to Heathwood. Learn more at heathwood.com.
You're listening to Toronto Maple Leafs hockey.
What a brilliant move by Willie Nylander, and we have a tie game.
On Sportsnet 590, The Fan, and the Leafs Radio Network.
Third power play of the game for the Calgary Flames.
I mean, this is just another brain cramp, isn't it? Lobbed into the Leaf zone. Timothy Liljegren grabs it and then thinks, what do I do now? By the time he drops it, he's already taken the penalty for closing his hand on the puck.
Uyghur starts out. Leafs have iced the puck to start the power play. Sharangovich gets in on the left wing. Huberdeau got it down into the corner. Brody knocks him down. Puck goes around to the far side. Kadri traps it there. Kadri stick handling with it. The former London junior gets it back of the net. Played it back to Kadri on the far half boards. Engaged as it comes back to the blue line. Near side for Huberdeau. Huberdeau a shot blockered away nicely there by Jones. Played back to Huberdeau. Minute 17. Huberdeau over for Uyghur. Uyghur backpedals into the middle of the ice at the point. Gets it off to the far side for Sharangovich. Sharangovich tried to center. Stolen by the Leafs and set out and down the ice. Flames have scored their power play goal here on a bit of a fluky play that Kadri gets credit for. Now back into the offensive zone. Stolen, but not chopped hard enough by Yarncrook to get it out. Shot blocked nicely by the Leafs there and quickly set out and down the ice. McCabe got his right skate in front of that and was able to send it the rest of the way. Brought back in against the Leafs. Backlund had it bounce to the line. A battle ensures, and they're going to call this offside. It was really close. I wasn't sure that it had come all the way out, but the linesman has a better look at it than I do.
Review that one.
Yeah, that's right.
You've already blown the whistle.
Good blocker save made by Jones, though, on this penalty kill.
Coming into this period, third period, at least 94 minutes and 6 seconds in the third period without a goal. You got to go back to early in the game against the San Jose Sharks at home when they came back from the Western Canada road trip the last time they scored in the third period.
Shot out and down the ice by the Leafs right off the face-off. 20 seconds left in the power play. Rasmus Andersson dropping it back. Flames come two abreast to center. Sharangovich getting it in on the wing. Kadri takes it to the half boards, but his attempt to send it back to the point is intercepted, and the Leafs have killed off this penalty. 6:43 to go. It's a one-goal game. Leafs with a 4-3 lead. Hanifin comes to center. Got it up on the left wing for Kadri. Kadri slides along the blue line, still with it, drops it off. Near side now for Hanifin. A shot is deflected wide of the net. The rebound up on the near wing, but Bertuzzi can't get out. Long shot, pad save made by Jones. Into the corner is Huberdeau, stolen by the Leafs, and now it is Bertuzzi skating it out at center. And he's going to flip it high into the left wing corner. Nylander goes in there, but there's no way to catch up to it. Flames have set it out and around and down the ice on an errant pass. Icing with 6:05 to play in the third period. 29-26, the shots favoring Toronto. If you joined us late, the Flames took a 2-0 lead in the first period before Austin Matthews scored the first of 3 goals. And then added 2 more in the second on banking around Marner to take a 4-2 lead. Mangiapane has scored in the third period, and it is 4-3. Brody couldn't keep the puck in. Backlund gets it to center and gets it deep into the Toronto end. Riley skates around back of his goal, played it up on the wing, and it's chopped out at center ice by the Maple Leafs, who are trying to get a change going. Anderson will send it back into the Leaf end. Riley for Matthews. Matthews got it ahead, and Pontus Holmberg will get it at least into the Flame zone, although he mishandles the puck at the blue line, and the Flames have it again with 5.5 minutes to go in the third. Flames play it off a skate, knocked back into Calgary territory, and Mackenzie Weegar goes back. Weegar getting it up on the right side, launched high in on the left wing. McCabe does a nice job of taking his man down, but Kadri goes around back of the Leaf goal, played it to the line as Nyes couldn't get it out, but a pass is intercepted here by Yarncrook. He'll send a diagonal shooting into the left wing corner. Nyes roars, and they got it in front. Oh, and Yarncrook had a chance and set it wide. Good hustle by Matthew Nyes. Puck in the center ice area. 4:45 to play in the third. Kadri drops it back. Huberdeau leaving it there. Hanifin comes to center and shoots it into the Toronto end. Brody down the boards, trying to find an opening with a bank pass, and that will clear the zone and get it out at center. Rasmus Anderson with it there. Anderson hits the red line, backhands it right back in again. Morgan Riley with a glance over his shoulder to see if he can reverse the puck. Got it ahead. Tavares gets it out. Willie Nylander in a foot race now with one man back. Gets it in over the line. Looking for a man with a pass. Brilliant save made by Vladar. As breaking in there was Brody. Now here's Nylander again. Down low with a shot. Stopped by Vladar, and Matthews almost had his fourth. Leafs continue to press. Back to the point to McCabe. Down along the boards it'll go. Kept alive by Gregor. In along the wall for Matthews. Tried to one-handed in front for Marner, and it came free. Here's Gregor with it again. Gregor back of the net for Marner. Marner coming out of the corner. In front for Matthews, a drive, and he whistled it wide. McCabe to the rebound. Good pressure here from Toronto. Matthews with another shot. Vladar has caught that and stops play.
Boy, Willie Nylander with 2 outstanding setups. One to Matthews, and I believe the other one was to Yarncrook. Joe, before that?
Brody, actually.
78 on 19.
Yep.
But the Leafs some great opportunities, and Vladar has been absolutely brilliant here in the third.
You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
Here's what's happening on Sirius XM Sports.
Just 2 days from NFL divisional playoff games. Sirius XM NFL Radio with a comprehensive look at the 4 games this Saturday and Sunday, plus ongoing coverage of the head coach carousel, including Bill Belichick and Jim Harbaugh. NFL Radio, Sirius XM Channel 88, and the Sirius XM app.
Sirius XM Sports, wherever you are, your team plays here.
NHL All-Star Weekend returns to Toronto, and SiriusXM NHL Network Radio brings you all the action.
Pass and a quick shot. Scores! Matthews! Lost for Crosby for the HP. He's good!
Hear conversations with all-star players and coaches. All-Star Media Day, player draft, skills competition, and play-by-play of the 2024 All-Star Game. 2024 NHL All-Star Weekend live, beginning February 1st on NHL Network Radio, Channel 91 in the car, and on the all-new SiriusXM app.
NHL Morning Skate.
Chris Knobloch, head coach of the Edmonton Oilers. No coaching experience in Paul Coffey. What's that been like as far as a rather unique fit as an assistant?
If you look at all the things that have improved with our team, and maybe even the most is how well our defense has been playing. Paul's done a great job of communicating with him and getting a message on just playing assertively.
NHL Morning Skate with Scott Laughlin and Gord Stellick. Weekdays 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, SiriusXM 91, and the SiriusXM app.
Join me, Gord Stellick, and Scott Laughlin as we recap the night that was on NHL Morning Skate, weekday mornings at 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91.
Leafs Radio Network.
The Leafs 4 and the Calgary Flames 3. The Leafs try to hang on to a one-goal lead with 3:28 left to play in the third period. They've had 4 gilt-edged chances to increase the lead, and Vladar has stopped them all. Leafs with it in the offensive zone. Down into the corner, Marner around back of the net. Still with it, a little stutter step as he shields the puck and comes back to the near half boards. Down low for Matthews, who stepped out. That was stopped. Then a shot is gloved by Vladar off the stick of Marner. And Callie Yarncroc working on the line this time. So Sheldon Keefe has done some juggling here. He's had Gregor up there with Matthews and Marner. Now Yarncroc.
I think Yarncroc's just had a little extra jump tonight. He is exactly where you want him to. Top of the crease, trying to provide a screen, look for a redirection.
Draw one by Toronto once more. Tavares winning the face-off as Bertuzzi got it down into the corner. Nylander unable to trap it. Comes back to the point. Fed into the corner and around back of the net by the captain. The puck comes to the near wing. Good play by Bertuzzi to get a stick on it, but then the Flames are able to backhand it out at center ice, and it's chipped by Coleman into the Toronto end. 2:43 to play. Leafs with it in their own zone under control. Lead pass that Bertuzzi fails to connect on, and it's back down to the blue line area, and the Flames are going to take it back into their own zone. Coleman goes around back of the net. Dan Vladar will be looking at the bench. Brought to center ice, blocked at the red line by Toronto. Marner has it pinned up against the boards, and it comes free. And McCabe will work it to the red line and shoot it right back in again. Vladar still in the net at the blue line. Where's the puck gone? I think it went off. Oh, no, it was trapped there. Maybe it's called offside as Simon Benoit. I thought he might have had it go over the boards and into the Calgary bench, but it's an offside. Whistle down by the linesman with 2:10 to play in the third period.
And it will be the longest 2 minutes and 10 seconds of a Maple Leaf fan's life.
Draw one by the Leafs so cleanly that it's all the way back into the Toronto zone. McCabe rings the boards to get it to the blue line, and it went over the glass and or over the boards and into the Leaf bench. Rasmus Andersson, I think, was hoping for a penalty, but then he had to rethink what the rule was.
Yeah, I know. I think he was just wanting to make sure they got the face-off in the Leaf zone.
So with a minute 59 is Vladar coming out of the net. And, the graphic goes up so we can tell you that the net is indeed empty. And Vladar's on the bench, and 6 attackers out there for Calgary. They're 0 for 2 on the power play, or 1 for 2 on the power play. A pass intercepted by Marner, looking at the empty net, missed.
Oh my, he also had Kelly Yarncroc busting up ice. Yarncroc had to wait.
Now Marner's arguing with the linesman. I don't know what.
I don't think this hit anybody. Take a look again. Does Rasmus Andersson get a piece of this? Ooh, and might have. But it's going to be ruled an icing. Boy, and this was after a horrid giveaway. I think that's what it was. I think Marner was saying that, look, that went off Anderson's stick.
Yeah, if it did, it just barely touched it. It didn't move it much, did it? Minute 51 to go. Draw to the left in the Leaf zone. Scrum by Matthews. Flames get it back to the point. Over on the near side. Andersson with a shot. That went wide. Yarncroc trying to chip it out, and he has. It's rolling on edge, but won't have enough to go for icing. Minute 38 to go. Around back of the goalless net is Sharon Govich carrying it to center. He gave the puck away, but then Brody had a chance and couldn't do much with it. Now the Leafs are going to punch it out at center. Marner races after it, trying to protect it against the boards. That draws a crowd in the Calgary end, and the Flames are going to come out with it. Kadri starts back at center. Hits the Leaf line. Close offside there, but a shot off a stick goes wide of the net. Kadri trips up his man, but no call. And the puck now trying to get out Did Nylander throw his stick at the puck?
No, I think he got slashed, Joe, as he was going to play it. I think there's going to be a slashing penalty on Calgary.
Calgary 28, minor penalty slashing.
Yep.
Well, you were right. They could have called the trip seconds before that, but the Leafs with 1:04 left will get a power play, but don't feel too good about it yet because Calgary leads the NHL in shorthanded goals with 10. Blake Coleman's got 4 of them. This wasn't much of a slash, and I think that's what the argument was, is Willie Nylander had one hand on his stick.
Just trying to get it out.
I think he's just trying to poke the puck.
And that's when I started thinking he's throwing his stick at the puck.
What else could happen, right?
Yes. So the penalty comes at 18:56. This is the second power play opportunity for the Leafs. They win the draw into the slot for Marner. Marner tried to make a pass for Matthews. That didn't work, and it's cleared out at center ice, but the Leafs come away with it and have it not under control in their own end. I'm sure Vladar is headed for the bench as the Leafs have it back in their own zone. Played out at center ice. Well, we can't see the net, and they haven't got a graphic up that they have pulled the goaltender. Brought in on the left wing now for Backlund. Backlund has it go high, and now finally the graphic goes up, and it tells us that the net is in fact empty, and so the Leafs can score a power play goal here into an empty net.
So you see it quite often where you get a short-handed goal on an empty net. You have the power play. I believe Calgary has called the timeout. Well, Calgary's called the timeout. The Leafs have already burned theirs, but it was well worth it. 31.9 seconds left.
Maybe the best timeout that Sheldon Keefe has called this year.
Oh, absolutely.
Draw in the Toronto zone. Tavares against Backlund. And Backlund wins the draw. Anderson. Oh, now they say they didn't do it correctly, and Anderson is upset with the linesman.
He's had a very vocal night. He is screaming at the official. Looks like Backlund got kicked out of the face-off circle.
Tavares and Kadri, and the Leafs captain wins the draw. The puck comes out at center ice. Chipped to the near wing, and the Flames come up with it, and it's shot by Backlund right back into the Toronto zone. Benoit back of the Toronto net. 14 seconds left to go in the third. Puck comes to Yarncrook. He's going to get it out at center, and that should just about do it. Anderson to the near side. Marner intercepts and misses the empty net. And time will run out.
No sense wasting him, but the third period shutout streak continues. The Leafs get a break on a goal called back in the third period. And Sheldon Keefe has taken some heat in some circles, Joe. But you're right. That was a huge timeout, and the video guys come through, and we might have to sneak him into the 3 stars, too.
I think we should. It's time for the Molson 3 stars. How about Sam Kim and Jordan Bean being...
Yeah, let's
how far up?
Let's give him number 3.
All right.
So Jordan Bean and Sam Kim, the video replay coaches, star number 3. I thought Willie Nylander, Joe, had a lot of jump tonight and had some scoring opportunities. I thought Yarncroc and Tavares were good as well. But let's go Willie Nylander, number 2.
I have an idea who should be the first star.
You can pick the first one
if you
like.
Yeah, thanks.
I'll
go with goalie. No, Austin Matthews. 3 goals and 1 assist. Again, a career high night, 4 points. And he picks up his 4th hat trick of this year, his 11th hat trick of his career. And the Maple Leafs are going to end their losing ways with a, well, if not impressive, at least it was an important 4-3 victory.
Absolutely. And I think you got a little worried, not only that now we know why Tyler Bertuzzi in part couldn't get the puck up the right wing boards because it was Coleman knocked it down with his glove, but how it looked for Martin Jones to give up that goal made you feel like, oh no, you can't afford another bad goal or soft goal at that moment. But the Leafs were able to hold on. But like we said, now it's on just shy of 5 games the third period, the Leafs have not had any offense. I believe Nick Robertson was the last Leaf to score in the third period in a home game against San Jose.
So the Maple Leafs will have a day off, and then they are off to Vancouver. And what has Vancouver done lately? 62 points, 29 wins, 11 losses, 4 overtime losses. They have been absolutely on fire, along with the Winnipeg Jets, as they are just a point behind the Boston Bruins as far as the President's Trophy is concerned. So it will be an important and a tough one in Vancouver. We'll have it for you beginning at 7 o'clock on Saturday night. We'll ship it off to Ailish Forfire and Justin Cuthbert. The Leafs win it 4-3. You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
You've been listening to Molson Leafs Hockey on Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Leafs Radio Network. There's a Molson with your name on it.
The end of an era in New England.
When the sports world is talking, nobody gives you more perspectives than the experts of Sirius XM.
It will be someone other than Bill Belichick along the sidelines.
Hear instant reaction on Mad Dog Sports Radio.
This is the single greatest run in the history of professional sports. It will never be duplicated.
And expert analysis on NFL radio.
24 years of sustained success. It was just magical.
Live sports talk when you need it is on Sirius XM in the car and on the all-new Sirius XM app.
What's up, Leafs fans? Another awesome night here on TSI. Thank you to each and every one of you for hanging out with us. Please don't forget to hit that like button, as it helps bring more Leafs fans into the chat. The more the better. A big shout out to our insiders and VIP members. Your support is truly appreciated. I cannot explain to you what it means for this community. Please consider joining our community. It's only 99 cents a month. I made it as low as possible so that we can get more and more people joining our community. Awesome member exclusive emojis in the chat during these Leafs games, and add your name to the scroll down below. Anyways, enough of the necessary evils to keep growing this amazing Toronto sports community and Maple Leafs community. Back to Leafs hockey. Go Leafs go. I'll see you guys in the chat. Peace.
surprising, the lack of chemistry amongst this group.
I think it would be interesting, it's going to be interesting to hear Sheldon to see if there's more of like, they had a Marner breakaway, they had a Domi breakaway, they had chances in the third that it didn't have to be this close. They still haven't been able to get that separation he wanted, but at least, regulation win, 14th on the season now for the Leafs. You go into Vancouver, at least not. It would be a totally different build up to Saturday night had they lost this hockey game tonight. So
huge. It's massive, man. That's what I'm saying. Like, everybody in there should be thanking Matthews. Yeah. Everybody in there, the coach, the staff. It should be Jordy Bean. He comes down. They thank him, and they thank Matthews. And it's just a group celebration of this player because, buddy, without him, they absolutely lose that game tonight.
What'd you think of Jones?
I thought Jones was okay for stretches, but obviously he's letting in more stinkers now. Like the Martin Jones that we expected to be Martin Jones is starting to be a little bit more Martin Jonesy, I would say.
Anytime you play your third goalie a lot, I think it's reasonable to say we are accepting 1 goal per game as a tax for having our third goalie in is going to be not awesome. And I think that's kind of where you're at. You get away with one tonight with the disallowed goal against Edmonton as well. But yeah, you're paying a 1 goal per game tax right now.
They are. And what was his save percentage going in before like the last couple of games? It was something like
932 or something.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It was never going to be that way. And I like Martin Jones. I think that he's solid. I think he's quiet in the net, big, all these different things, clear, good vet. But yeah, you couldn't anticipate that this was going to remain the same way. But I just, it's awesome that Matthews put the cape on tonight. He really takes a lot of the pressure off. I'm glad that we get to celebrate him. Again, do you know who the other players in the NHL are that have 4 hat tricks in the season right now, the active players?
Is it Pasternak maybe?
Correct. 1. I'll tell you, there's 4. This is kind of a trick question, but there's 4 guys other than Matthews that are currently playing that have 4 hat tricks in the season right now.
McKinnon, McDavid.
Nope.
And nope.
No, it's Pasternak. You got 1. The other one, come on, you got to get at least 1.
My brain isn't working right now. Who shoots it in the net a lot? I don't know. Is it Zibanejad?
No, Ovechkin has.
Ovechkin? Oh, you mean not this season?
No, not this season. Sorry, in their career, there are only 4 active players that have 4 hat tricks in 1 calendar year.
Sid?
Nope. Tage Thompson is the other.
Really?
Yes, and then the other one is Austin Matthews again. This is the second time that he's done it in his career. It's incredible. But yeah, they're carrying too much of the weight. The Leafs now have over 80% of their offense coming from their top guys, Yarncroc and Riley. Like that's 80% of their goals this year now after tonight. It's just like all the scoring is coming from one place. Eventually, somebody else is going to have to step up and take some of this pressure off of Matthews because, like, I just think your formula of Matthews scoring hat trick to win is not sustainable. It's not going to keep happening night in, night out, man.
No, yeah, I'm thinking back to the playoffs against Tampa Bay and Florida and, getting a goal here and there from, Lafferty pitches one in and Kerfoot tips one in here and there. But they just didn't find enough other goals. And, not to say that tonight is a reason to say to assess the whole state of the Leafs, but it does feel like that's going to be something that needs to be addressed here. The problem is Bertuzzi, it doesn't seem to be that. Like, I don't know what's happened here, but there's a moment tonight where he's got the puck 6 feet from the top of the crease. He's trying to slide one back door to whoever it was. Fine. But can you not play like Marner? Can you be just a guy who takes it to the net hard and finishes and shoots? And Bertuzzi is struggling for an identity on this team. What would you say it is? It's not grit or whatever he was brought here for. It's not offense. What is his role right now?
Right now, I think that his strongest attribute is playmaking. That's what he continuously tries to do. And it's that's not who you are. McKee and I talked about this the other night where he went, yeah, but he's not as good of a passer as Domi is. And I went, correct. It's just for $5.5 million, he has he's been a complete no-show. I thought when he came in, he was going to be the most popular player, right? Just everyone was going to love this guy. Remember his first game? He gets in a scrum. He's around the net the entire night. And it feels like his game this year has been far more finesse. To me, I think that if you're making the fire the coach argument, I said this on my podcast, the strongest case is that you probably want to find more from some of the other guys that Tree Living brought in here. Like, it's another night where Max Domi only played 10 minutes, and his only moment of note was when he gets a wide open opportunity in front of the net and doesn't bury it. Yeah. And then Bertuzzi, who he plays more, Keefe cussed out, as the broadcast brought up, yelled at him to get off the ice at one point, and had another game that was largely forgettable and really not full of any kind of moments of impact. Again, dude, this really was an Auston Matthews night. Even like to your point about how they turned it on in the second period, it was like, look who carried them in the second period. Look who had the legs and let his team find themselves. It was Auston freaking Matthews and Mitch Marner. Those two guys did the damn thing. And the other guys kind of fell in line, but not in an impactful way. More of an, we're not going to screw us over kind of way was what it was more like.
Hey, I just looked up Bertuzzi's hits per game and where he is on the Toronto Maple Leafs. He's 15th in hits per game.
Yeah, that's not good.
No.
Be higher.
The grit you brought in is a breath ahead of Nick Robertson. You know, not
He's got
quite.
more pieces to, like, more ugly pieces to his equipment than he has hits this year. It's not a great stat.
Yeah. So, you know, I haven't had the chance to talk much Leafs with you.
Yeah.
Where have you been on the team right now? The big topics are Keefe, and then buy or sell for the Leafs. We had this sell conversation today for the Leafs and what it would look like if they said, we don't think we're good enough. I think they are good enough, and I don't think they should sell. But where are you on the status of the Leafs?
I think that you are, like, this West Coast trip, I akined it to Charlie Montoya, and when he went out west with the Toronto Blue Jays a couple of years ago, and then he didn't come back. It's like Sheldon Keefe needs wins from his team against these tough opponents, and that's why tonight was massive. Is I just think that you lose this one, that puck goes in. The alternate reality where we're not saying that's a hand pass. Like, there's two time, sliding door moments for me in this game. One was the Matthews goal, as we referenced, the first one of the game. Yeah. The second is the hand pass. And if neither of those things happen, then you and I are on here purely discussing that there's nothing else to talk about other than the coach's standing. Like, remember when they beat Pittsburgh, when they embarrassed Pittsburgh, that it felt like these are two ships and completely different. Pittsburgh, I saw today in the standings, is 2 points back of the Leafs before tonight's result.
Buddy, Montreal's 5 points back.
Yeah. It's a disaster. It's a calamity at this point. So, no, my thought on the state of the Leafs is what I've said tonight, which is this win is great. I'm thrilled that Matthews played so well. I'm thrilled for the Leafs fans that were in attendance in Calgary, because I've been to these games out west, and it's a war. The best Leaf games you can go to are not here in Toronto. They are in every other Canadian arena. You will have the very best time. It is like, that's when you really do feel the quote unquote passion that unites us. You're not in the concourses here, and you're just with your friends. You go to the concourses in Ottawa, Montreal, Calgary, Edmonton, Vancouver, and you are having a blast with the other Leaf fans. You're high-fiving in the seats. It's the best time. I'm so glad that they got one. So glad that they got one. But again, you required a hat trick from your best player and a hand pass goal that doesn't count for you to scrape by with a 1-goal win in regulation. I don't know how you can feel overly confident about where this team is at, considering what I saw tonight was amazing from the top line. Not a lot of great stuff from the rest of the roster. Like, who would you say was the third best guy tonight for the Leafs after those two on the top line?
Love that question.
Correct. That's the answer. Correct. It just they don't feel like a team that plays together, bud. Like they don't play with any kind of connectivity. They don't have any grit. They don't have any identity beyond the stars. Like, the one thing
is though, JD, Matthews does play on the team, and I love making that point. Where it's like, when oftentimes you talk to people about a team, they're like, yeah, they just have a good goalie though, and it's like, okay. He plays for them. He's and that's how I feel about Matthews. Like, he is an absolute force, but he's a guy that they have, and that's one of the reasons they pay him the way they do, and he can win you some. So he wins you some tonight, buys time for the other guys to figure it out. The big concern, and I know this is the point you're making, is just, so many guys got to figure it out. TJ Brody is a absolute problem for them. He can't play on the top pair in the NHL this season.
And who are you going to replace him with? A guy who grabbed the puck and did a spinorama with it in the most crucial moment of the game, Timothy Liljegren?
Every time they cut to Liljegren, he was like, it looked like the edibles just hit or something. Like,
I don't know what it is, but yeah, that's always been I think a little bit a part of his game is that, there's a spaciness there.
Yeah, I guess. Like McCabe in that game was everything Jake McCabe is, where he absolutely bodies some guy and then he turns one over, and then he here we got McCabe on Kadri.
Kadri hit, yeah, lovely. This is now McCabe's corner. It's like somebody goes in that corner with McCabe every night now, and he's just doing business. Yeah. I love McCabe for this.
He gets guys slightly off balance. Joe, do we have the McCabe breakout, the good one too, but right before his turnover? Like, he is just so hot and cold. He's able to like shake guys, make a little dish, make a play, and then the very next touch, he looks like he's using the wrong end of his stick. So, yeah, I don't know if we have that one or not, but he's just – the point is with McCabe, I don't trust him to be a top pair guy. He looks like he's going to play over 20 minutes a night for them, though, in the playoffs right now, any way you cut it. So you hope you get more of the good. Cross your fingers, man.
I just saw a thing today. I saw a report that if you want to try to pry UC Saros from the Nashville Predators, that it would take more than 2 first-round picks in the 20s, which is what the Leafs hope that their first-round picks are, right? So they're just flat out on UC Saros because that's all they have. If you trade those 2 first-round picks, you don't have them. You would have 3 consecutive seasons without firsts. Like, it's just, that's not a sustainable thing to do in the NHL.
No.
Okay, so it's tough to improve the goaltending in like a meaningful way where you can go get like a game breaker goaltender that's going to change things for your defense. Okay, so the number 1 defenseman. Well, you just played a team tonight that has one in Hanifin, but it's very touch and go in terms of whether he's going to leave. Like, the league is not.
Francis thinks he's going to sign. He was on our show today.
Yeah, that's been the feeling like from the very jump in Calgary, right? That they just didn't want to let another stud go. It's like, who is the number 1 defenseman that people really feel like is going to balance out the rest of the lineup? Like, I like Tanev, and I watched him tonight very closely, thinking, okay, this is going to be big time Tanev watch. He's a nice player. I don't think that Chris Tanev arrives in Toronto and sits at the top pairing, and then all of a sudden, all the dominoes, like all the pieces of the puzzle, they start to.
It helps, right?
Yeah, it helps, but it's just, I want to see more from the guys on the team to earn the sell, right? Or the buy, right? When you asked me the question about, hey, would you get to the point of selling? I don't think they can do that because they have the stars in the prime, and it's kind of inexcusable. Although I do think there's sort of an interesting, like, TJ Brody, Tyson Barrie comparable to 2020, where you say, hey, we're not going to do this unless we get something really valuable back, but we're listening on this, we're not hanging up phones if you're calling on this player.
The conclusion I sort of came to on our show today is that, like, if the Leafs are where I think they are in the NHL, somewhere between the 7th and 11th best team in the league, do you think that's a fair assessment? 6th and 11th, maybe somewhere in that sort of range?
You can't tell me that right now. Like, if you're going to say what's their ceiling, I would say that they're above they're 6. But based on the play right now, like, I know that a lot of people who watch the show are probably frustrated right now because they won a game and you just want to be celebrating Matthews and be like, yo, tell me how good Matthews is. And he's great. He's amazing.
He's on pace for 71, the most ever, the most in Solane. He shoots it in a lot.
Yeah, he does. Again, he's incredible. I did my Matthews stats. I've done as much Matthews as I can do. But I can't ignore a first period where, like I said, there's a blue line that can't break a puck out, and there's forwards that don't come back and support and aren't tough on the walls. I can't ignore that they play this style where they try to keep the puck so it goes backwards sometimes, but then they don't have the personnel to handle that when it happens. And so it leads to calamity that they're leaning completely on William Nylander being that $11.5 million player. And
he's going to come back online. He will disconnected from the internet for a bit. I don't blame him.
He will.
He's been grinding to get that contract. I'm going in the wilderness for a little. I'll see y'all later.
God, this is so your personality. you're like,
Oh God, yes.
You're like, I relate to him. I want that.
Yeah.
I want.
Like, oh, do I need to go prove my contract?
Yeah.
I have 8 years to do that. I'll show you I earned
And
it
he
later.
absolutely does. And that's why I don't want to overreact to the play. And that's why I haven't really even brought it up on the show. My only point is that, like, it's not as though he doesn't have a track record of doing that in the other seasons. And that if you were in the camp of, hey, this was a contract year, and then you remove that incentive in the middle of the year, it's just can make you a little nervous. Tavares does. You know, Tavares not scoring goals and getting hemmed in and having more brain farts, I think, than ever is like a cause for concern. It's just, anyway, God, I don't want to be overly negative tonight, but there's just
Hold on,
so
I was making
many
a point
things.
before we got derailed. I was making a point. The Leafs are what? 6th to 11th, whatever my range was.
I just don't think that they're a top 5 team right now. I don't think that they look like a Stanley Cup contender. And to me, they need to prove that they are taking a meaningful step. And a couple of those pieces that I referenced that are below expectation right now, they need to take a step. If I'm Brad Treliving and saying, you want me to spend a first round pick, then do something to make me do it.
This is where I'm going with that, which is just if you are, UC Saros, like what are we talking about UC Saros for? Like, you're not going to spend assets in a year where you think you might be the 10th best team, to become the 8th best team. That doesn't make sense. You have a guy named Joe Wall who you don't know what he is, but when you're the 10th best team or whatever, you cross your fingers and say, I hope he's healthy and I hope he's the guy he was before he left. If he isn't, the season's lost, but we haven't given up any assets, and we'll draft and we'll take a run at it next year. I just think they have to play better for them to do more. Right? Totally. Like it, so you win some games, you go on a run, you make them think maybe we're the 6th best team, not the 10th best team. Maybe we can get into the top 5. Now we're talking. But as things currently sit, it'd be real hard to say Fraser Minton for Chris Tanev. And then next year starts, you've lost in the first round and you don't have either of those guys.
Yeah, and you could have signed Tanev likely in free agency because he was willing to come home anyways. And then you go, right, whoops, maybe we rushed that.
Dude lives like 5 minutes from me here in Toronto. He likes
I've asked Show before I ask you my final question anyways on this game. We've asked Show to put what we think is the funniest comment into the text chat, into the text part. And he has noted that a lot of people in the comments tonight are saying that we're wearing Kyle Dubas glasses. And so it's a tough.
These are my home glasses. Don't judge me.
I will say that I washed my face today and I got a little bit of the soap in my eye and could not return to the contact lenses. So it's like, it's a glasses night. We're doing
I have my like cool on air glasses, and these are my like, look, you want me to do Leafs talk? You're getting my home glasses. This is what you get.
Anyways, yes, we're both just we're Dubasing it up tonight. That's why the critiques are there. We miss our guy. If you watch the show enough with me and you think that that's my take, I don't know what else I could do. Yeah. So when I talk about all the pieces and the ones that really aren't going right now and the things that do need to change coming into this year, buddy, Nyes was such an important piece. It was this guy, this bull. Remember him from the playoffs? Like what a player he was. What a big loss it felt like when they didn't have him against the Panthers, when he ends up getting hurt in the series.
Yeah.
And do you think he's hit a rookie wall? Like what are you seeing with his game right now? Because he's a guy who again got stapled to the bench tonight, 10 minutes, and that's becoming routine for him.
Yeah, I do think he's hit a rookie wall. I'm reminded of earlier in the season when he was sick and missed 2 games, I think, and he came back. His first game back after having like two nights off was against Pittsburgh, and he came out like a house on fire. Gordie Howe hat trick, scores the goal, roasting a guy wide, his best game of the season. And you go look through his hockey elite prospects or hockey DB page, whatever your site is, and the guy's career high in games played is 44 games in junior hockey. He played 40 games in college. This is the most hockey he's ever played in like 4 months. The NHL level, playing beside Matthews for most of the year. It's a lot. I think he could use a night off. I don't think that's quitting on him or whatever. I think it's maximizing the chance of getting the most out of him later in the year, because right now he doesn't look confident. He doesn't have the puck anymore. Do you ever see him have the puck? Like he's not involved in the hockey games anymore, and he just needs a sec.
So totally agree with you. And you even think about stuff like, hey, the Sweden trip. If you're an NHL pro and a vet, you can probably handle that a little bit more You can more easily than a young kid.
Yeah.
And I think our brain goes, because we're all old and broken, those of us that we go, well, no, the young guy should have all the energy. He should be able to do this. It's like, no, man, he's not built up his body. We think about pitchers, right? In baseball, and you want to build up the innings on the arm before that you really trust them to go out and pitch 200 innings. And in hockey, we never really have it. We just say, hey, rookie wall. But dude, Matthew Knies, when he's at his very best, he feels relentless in the forecheck. That is like the calling card of his game, is that he chases guys around. And when a defenseman is trying to play with the puck back in his own zone or going back for a puck, I love it when Knies is just like on his back,
right,
and forcing him to make a difficult play. And I don't see that anymore. I see a guy that is just looking very lost, not having an impact on the game, and in the D zone is really, 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 really fighting it. Yeah. I think the problem is that if these guys, and this gets to something that I talked about on my show today, which is that I keep hearing the same thing about this team from many different places, which is that internally they are way too concerned with narratives and media, and that it is not just a Mitch Marner issue. It is pervasive throughout the entire building. And I think that instead of doing what is right for the player and Matthew Knies and simply just saying, we're going to sit you for a night, they're worried about the narrative that is going to come off of something like that, where they sit him and all of a sudden it's blaming him for the losses and not the coach and blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
Instead of just doing what's right by the player. And that's what sucks about when your team is in a rut, is that it does blow things out of proportion.
It sucks here.
And it sucks here. And in reality, they just need to sit the kid down for a night or two, give him a breather, put Nick Robertson in, hope that his legs are going, and then see Matthew Knies in a week and hope that it carries into the All-Star game.
Two things on this. One, when you think of, I wrote yesterday about the Leafs' inability to have ozone possession time. Who on the Leafs can rag the puck in the ozone, have it cut back with a guy on their back, eat minutes? Knies, it's like the, Matthews and whatever, and it's Knies. And he hasn't been able to do that for a while, which is, it really hurt their offense. The other funny thing about sit one out and put Nick Robertson in, and this is not a suggestion, but just a reminder. Remember Ryan Reeves is on this team and healthy? Like
no.
Yeah, he's an available guy that is with the team and has a 3-year contract.
Remember Sam Lafferty used to play here?
Don't do that. I think he has 9 goals for Vancouver or something this year. He's just been great for them.
And
good
he's a
PK, fast.
He's
hits.
a dog.
Scored for them in the postseason last year. Anyway.
Yeah, that's a pretty good player. To me, Ryan Reeves, no offense, is no different than Kyle Clifford plays for the Marlies. So there's 2 guys down there. It's like, that's where you belong.
Yeah. Just a reminder that he's there.
I don't want to live that again.
No, I know.
I don't want to go back. I don't want to go back there. Hey, Justin Bourne, anything else for you, or we're going to wrap the sucker up? This was a long one, so I appreciate it.
All good, pal.
Yeah, this was fun. It was great catching up. So I hope everybody enjoys it. We went long tonight, people. So the least you could do is subscribe, leave 5 stars. If you follow on iTunes or you're listening to this thing on Spotify, you got it from a friend. If you're watching on YouTube, hit thumbs up. You can leave a comment if you'd like. You can follow Justin and I on Twitter and Instagram at JD Bunkus and at JT Bourne. Wait, what's your professional Instagram?
It's just at JT Bourne _SN.
Oh, okay. That's it. You threw the SN in there. I see. This
the SN's for super nice.
No, I was going to say that's a man with extreme confidence that he'll remain at the company on his terms as long as he wants. Whereas I've never put SN in anything because I'm like,
I'll be honest, it was a big debate, and I've just decided to claim it doesn't stand for Sportsnet.
Yeah. Every day that they're like, you still work here. The key card works. Every time my key card even remotely screws up, I'm like, this is I understand.
It was always the right call.
Anyways, thanks for listening. Thanks for watching, Justin Bourne. Thanks for being here. We will catch you on Saturday with Anthony Petrelli.
Move up to Heathwood. Hi, I'm Hugh Heron. Experience true luxury at Williamsburg Green in Kitchener. Heathwood's all-brick homes are built with upgraded features and elevated finishes. Chef-inspired kitchens, spa-like en-suites, and a fully finished lower level. Even better, Williamsburg Green has parks, playgrounds, and trails to explore. It's time to move up to Heathwood. Learn more at heathwood.com.
and a truck or two, and a truck or two, and a truck or two, and a truck. Take two in a truck, .ca. So when you gotta move, I'll move and day. Think two in a truck, .ca. Cause all of us movers are not the same. So that's our company name, 2 men in a truck.ca. We're lots of men with lots of trucks, so give us a call today.
Unhibernate, a verb. To laugh in the face of snow because you drive a Subaru. As in, when I unhibernate, I have the roads all to myself because my Subaru has symmetrical full-time all-wheel drive and others don't. Or, the award-winning safety in my Subaru means I can unhibernate all winter while my neighbors stare longingly from their bedroom windows. Or my favorite usage, I'm going to unhibernate this winter by visiting my local Subaru dealer today. Welcome to Uncommon Winter Confidence.
This is a limited time offer. Vision's employee pricing is on now, and here are just some of the incredible in-store offers. Get a JVC 65-inch 4K Roku Smart TV for $498, or a Samsung 83-inch OLED TV for $3888, and Dyson cordless vacuums for $346, and even more lower prices than we can advertise throughout the store. Plus, enter for your chance to win a massive 100-inch Hisense TV. Employee pricing is on now, in-store only at Vision's Electronics.
Hey, it's me, Money. Normally I sound like, and? But when I'm working extra hard, I sound more like, Money here, you got it. Yep, copy that. Always working. Done. When you bank with HSBC, I work harder for you. And with a special GIC rate, I'm working extra hard.
Make your money work harder for you. Get up to 5% per year on Canadian registered term deposits and GICs. Visit hsbc.ca/more money. Issued by HSBC Bank Canada. Terms apply. Limited time offer. Rates are subject to change.
Great goal! Let's go to Dave at the bench.
Oh, what a shot, Gord.
Last time we spoke, you had been really tired. Not anymore.
Yeah, I was losing sleep. I was snoring every night. Then I saw Dr. Pillersdorf, and she treated my snoring with her laser and gave me an oral appliance, like a sports mouth guard, for my sleep apnea. Now my wife and I sleep restfully.
Thanks, Gord.
Problem snoring? Suffer from sleep apnea? Book an appointment with Dr. Paulette Pillersdorf. Call 647-243-2006.
Check out 32 Thoughts, the podcast, brought to you by the 2024 GMC Sierra. There are trucks, and then there's the truck. Available with the V8 engine, the ultimate luxury interior, and the world's first 6-function multi-pro tailgate. The GMC Sierra isn't just any truck, it's the truck. Visit gmccanada.ca to see the Sierra today.
Sometimes wishes do come true. You can now fly Porter Airlines to Vancouver, Calgary, and Edmonton from Toronto Pearson. More time to enjoy Porter's warm service to Western Canada. Our all-economy flights include stress-free boarding, free snacks and beverages, and no middle seats for everyone. On longer flights, fresh meal options, free fast Wi-Fi, and in-seat charging. Book at flyporter.com. Porter. Actually, enjoy economy.
Did you know that Specsavers always offers you a free lens upgrade when you buy a pair of glasses from $149?
Yeah, it's their big free lens offer.
Big, eh?
Yeah, it includes progressive lenses, thinner and lighter, and blue light filter options.
That's big.
Yeah.
Big! Big! All right, I get it.
The big free lens offer at Specsavers. A free lens upgrade is always included when you buy a pair of glasses from $149 or above. Exclusions and conditions apply. Visit specsavers.ca for details.
Simply better security right from the palm of your hand.
Brevo is a leader in customized access control for buildings. Know who is coming and going in real time, access control and more conveniently from your mobile device.
From small businesses to multinational, Brevo secures it all.
Join millions of professionals